Next on Fox Sports Saturday at the races, Grade 1 winner Mind Control ditches the Derby trail for the Bayshore, but a big effort could mean a date with the Derby winner in Baltimore. World of Trouble gave the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint winner all he could handle at Churchill. Can he collect his first graded stakes win in the Grade 1 Carter? In the Gazelle, Espresso Shot looks to continue her ascent and solidify a spot in the Kentucky Oaks with a third straight stakes win. And out west, superstar fillies collide in the Santa Anita Oaks as Bellafina looks to remain perfect as a 3-year-old. Standing in her way, Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh's sister, chasing yesterday on a 4-race win streak. Fox Sports Saturday at the races is brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today.
Welcome to the show. Great to have you with us. For the last few months, we've been taking you down to the road to the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks. We will do that again this afternoon. We'll preview some of the big Derby preps, but we have 2 preps for the Kentucky Oaks, the Santa Anita Oaks from out west and the Grade 2 Gazelle from here at Aqueduct, not to mention a rematch of the Bayshore and one of the top sprinters in the country in the Grade 1 Carter, Greg Wolf, alongside the Hall of Famer Gary Stevens and New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. We are back live on set here in New York and looking forward to a tremendous Saturday of action coming up. And that Bayshore, Gary, looks absolutely loaded.
It is completely loaded. I'll tell you what, Mind Control much better, both facing each other off of a great race in the Gotham. They're shortening back up in distance today, the 7 furlongs. Don't forget Mind Control. He's already a Grade 1 winner, but much better. He's coming back to the sprint game. He's the fastest horse in the race. I don't know who's going to come with him. And after 7 furlongs in this race, Mind Control much better. We're virtually inseparable. So I think we can look for a tight finish again today, but if much better gets loose on the lead, Mind Control, he's going to improve off the layoff today. I think he's going to have a hard time getting past much better.
We shall see. Big performance. He could be put back into the mix in the Triple Crown. We'll have more on that in just a little bit, and hopefully hear from trainer Gregory Sacco as well. Meanwhile, in the Grade 1 Carter, a horse who his only defeat in his last 5 starts was one of the most stirring stretch duels we've seen in the Breeders' Cup in a while.
He's clearly one of the best turf sprinters in the country, but I think maybe his connections may have underrated how good he is as a dirt sprinter, and he showed that when he ran that race at Tampa Bay 2 back, and then he got rained off last time at Gulfstream, ran a big race. Now his Breeders' Cup, obviously a sensational effort. Stormy Liberal won his 2nd straight Breeders' Cup turf sprint in that race, and World of Trouble gave him all he could handle. In fact, really looked like he was going to win the race. World of Trouble ran 4th in our Woody Stevens for 3-year-olds on the Belmonte card. And maybe his connections were disappointed, but I think they shouldn't have been. He dueled in a vicious, vicious pace with a horse named Promises Fulfilled, who is the only 3-year-old that beat older horses in a stake race last year on the dirt. And Promises Fulfilled went on to 3 graded stakes in the dirt. World of Trouble, I think he's on his way to a Grade 1 win today.
Look at our weather and track conditions here at Aqueduct in South Ozone Park, New York. Mostly sunny and 63 degrees here this afternoon. Of course, we have the Bayshore, the Gazelle on the road to the Kentucky Oaks, the Excelsior and Carter. Meanwhile, in Hot Springs, Arkansas at Oaklawn, thunderstorms forecast in the area. We know that because Gary Stevens just got an update on his iPhone, alerted us of that information, 68 degrees. Meanwhile, out west at Santa Anita, superstar showdown in the 3-year-old filly division between Bellafina and Chasing Yesterday will take place. We'll have that for you live, partly cloudy and 67 degrees this afternoon. Our race schedule and track conditions brought to you by WinStar Farm, the farm that pays you back. Fast and Firm today at Aqueduct. We'll have races 5 through 9, including the Grade 1 Carter. At Oaklawn, races 3 and 6. It is fast there. And at Santa Anita, Fast and Firm with stakes action ahead, including that Santa Anita Oaks. You can play along and bet all the races we show you this afternoon by signing up with a Naira Bets account. Use the promo code LIVE at sign up, bet 200, and you will get 200 in your account. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Let's check in now with Maggie Wolfendale for more on the card today at Aqueduct.
And Greg, you couldn't ask for a better day than what we're seeing here for this Wood Memorial card. The sun is shining, we are fast and we are firm. The crowd is great. There's some food trucks right beyond the winner's circle here. It just feels like springtime in New York, and that is always marked by our marquee event in the Wood Memorial. But we'll start things off here on the show here in the Big Apple with a turf event. This one for the Claimers, as they will be going the mile and a 16th on the turf course. And we'll start with some horses coming in off of layoffs. That includes the gray New York bred. That is Wicked Freud, who will make his first start off the bench, and for the ever so dangerous Jason Service. You guys were talking about his horses heading into the graded stakes this afternoon. And Wicked Freud, I always feel as though he's a horse that's a little bit better, a little shorter. He looks fairly fit, he looks fairly strong, but also last year as a 6-year-old, he was nothing what he was as a 5-year-old. So he's going to have to refine his form of yesteryear, but if there's anybody that can do it, it's Jason Service. Moving on to Applicator, he comes off a layoff for Brad Cox after a disappointing effort over soft turf at Churchill Downs. He looks fine, but he just doesn't look fit to me. He's a little heavy, he's a little washy, and while his full back class, it could, be brought forth here, I just don't think he's ready to fire his best shot off the bench. The horse that looks the best, though, to me is number 9, Sycamore Lane. Gets a little class relief here for Bill Mott. Again, another guy who will send out Tacitus in today's Wood Memorial, and he looks fantastic. Better than I had seen him this past fall. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. Sycamore Lane for Bill Mott, 2 for 3 here at Aqueduct, and the only defeat was a second-place finish. Our favorite, though, Slim Shady, 11 years old and still going strong.
He's a terrific horse. I'm just surprised he's favored, Gary.
Let's go to Larry Colmus. Here's race 5 from Aqueduct.
They're off. And it's Tis a Chance who comes out running with Double Deep, and outside of them, there goes Applicator up and on the pace too. Wicked Freud is close up as they make their way for that first turn. Then it's Holy Week, followed by Ode to the Hunt, who sits back in is 6th early on, 7 lengths off the lead, moving into that clubhouse turn. And then it's Slim Shady, who's in behind horses, racing 8 lengths behind, right alongside of Shamcat as they head to the backstretch. Clunty is out there 3 deep, then Sycamore Lane, followed by Pushki and Glencairn at the back. 24:08 was that first quarter as the top 2 kick on. It is Double Deep and Tis a Chance, and they're a half length apart and 5 in front of the rest. Racing in 3rd position is Wicked Freud, who's down on the inside as they continue up the backstretch. And then it's Applicator to the outside. Ode to the Hunt is next. And then comes Holy Week down toward the inside, about 6 lengths off the lead after a 47.93 half mile. Slim Shady is still unhurried, 6.5 lengths behind, moving for the far turn. So it is Double Deep the leader. On top a half a length, Tis a Chance. Applicator going up on the outside, 3 deep. Ode to the Hunt is right in behind them. Wicked Freud is down on the inside. Then a bottled up Slim Shady in behind horses, 5 lengths off the lead, followed by Cluntia to the outside. And they're into the stretch, and Applicator is taking the lead. It is Applicator and Kendrick Carmouche to the front. Wicked Freud comes on the outside in second. Ode to the Hunt, 3rd in the center. Slim Shady is next. Applicator to catch coming into the final 16th. Ode to the Hunt on the outside closes in. Wicked Freud is between those 2, and farther out it's Cluntia. It's going to be Applicator to do it. Applicator wanted it. Was a photo behind. It may have been Ode to the Hunt, who is on the wire with Wicked Freud and Cluntia.
Applicator hangs on, late stretch. Kendrick Carmouche for trainer Brad Cox. This horse wins in his 6-year-old debut.
Yeah, and got a nice patient trip from Kendrick Carmouche. There was a lot of traffic back behind Applicator coming into the stretch. Slim Shady just getting a horrible trip. No fault of Jose Ortiz. He was just in behind horses, loaded all the way, waving himself in and out of traffic. Meantime, Applicator making the lead on the outside, coming into the stretch. Now the straw in his path. And you'll see Slim Shady on the left side of your screen here momentarily, come running late, diving down into the inside to pick up a piece of it. But an unlucky Slim Shady and a good trip for Applicator.
So Kendrick Carmouche, Brad Cox, Genstar Thoroughbreds team up for the victory here, 9-2 on Applicator. who wins off the bench here to get his 2019 campaign started off the right way. We'll have the prices from this one in a moment. Right now, we're going to check in out on the West Coast where we have a superstar showdown ahead between Bellafina and Chasing Yesterday in the Santa Anita Oaks. Let's go to Michelle Yu.
Thanks so much, Greg. Like you mentioned, some serious star power on the card today. In addition to the Santa Anita Oaks, we are going to be having two other stakes, the Evening Jewel for Calbred Filly Sprinting and the Royal Heroine, which shows Vasilika, who is seeking her 6th stakes win since being claimed last year for only $35,000. She is a rising star here on the turf circuit. But, of course, the marquee event for us going to be the Santa Anita Oaks. Bellafina, who has just been perfect this year with back-to-back stakes wins, will be taking on Chasing Yesterday, who only ran 13 days ago when she won the Sunland Park Oaks. Bob Baffert wheels her right back into here, and it's going to be an absolute showdown. Also note Mike Smith going to be back aboard Chasing Yesterday. He had ridden her in her first couple of outs, but had been Drayden Van Dyke aboard her for her last several races, including her Grade 1 win in the Starlet. And in case you guys haven't tuned in, she's also the half-sister to Triple Crown winner American Pharoah, guys.
Yes, she is, and that's how she's got attention really from day one for trainer Bob Baffert. But now she's starting to do it on her own and make her own imprint on the game, trying to win her 5th consecutive race this afternoon. She has a tall order going against Bellafina as we check in Hot Springs, Arkansas, race 3. Quick look here at the odds. The remaining half of the entry, Chip Van Winkle at 4-5 on the board, 6 furlong sprint coming up.
Thanks so much. We do have Chip Van Winkle from the barn of trainer Norm McKnight, David Cohen in the irons. David Cohen actually tying Ricardo Santana for leading rider. You see, I'm not out trackside as we do have thunder rumbling in the skies as we speak. Kind of taking shelter here in the paddock as we are under a current severe thunderstorm watch. Now, Chip Van Winkle actually makes his first start for the McKnight barn off a 3rd place finish and a claim against restricted $10,000 runners. The McKnight barn has kind of become synonymous with sending out first times off the claim at a very, very high rate, about 38%. They actually step him up in class and race for that starter condition, not for the claim. They are about 38%, and he has a recent March 29th work, 46-4, and that is out of the gate. Very impressive work. These two together team up for leading owner M&M Racing, and they also set a very nice record. Now the highest earnings for an owner here at Oaklawn. Greg?
Nancy Holthus, thank you for that report. So Chip Van Winkle, that remaining half of the entry here, 3-5 on the board for Norm McKnight. Vic Stauffer with the call. Here's race 3 from Oaklawn.
They're at the post. They're off. Silver Spun breaks well. Chip Van Winkle in After Hours with the Greeley Spirit between horses. Then DRC All Inclusive, followed by Bajan Cash and Davka, and the early trailer is Coleman Rocky. It is Silver Spun up the backstretch, 3/4 of a length in front of After Hours. A similar margin to Chip Van Winkle on the move, and there goes Chip Van Winkle all the way up to challenge Silver Spun for the front. Then Greeley Spirit, 4th with 2.5 to make up. Bajan Cash has 3 to close. DRC All-Inclusive 4 lengths behind. Davka is 6 lengths to make up, and at the rail, Coleman Rocky and Chip Van Winkle and Silver Spun are 1-2. Chip Van Winkle 3 deep, now a neck in front of Silver Spun. After Hours is 3rd and a length and a half off the lead. Greeley Spirit stays at the rail. Then to the outside in Bajan Cash, Chip Van Winkle the one to beat. He's a length in front. Stretch runners are coming. Bajan Cash and DRC All-Inclusive, and you better take a look at DRC All-Inclusive with Greeley Spirit at the rail. These 3, DRC All-Inclusive alongside Chip Van Winkle. Greeley Spirit at the fence. DRC All-Inclusive. DRC All-Inclusive beat Chip Van Winkle. Greeley Spirit was 3rd, and Bajan Cash finished 4th.
DRC All-Inclusive comes up with a win, 4th win in his career for the son of Include.
Yeah, and Chip Van Winkle, I'll tell you what, at the half-mile pole, he got out in the clear and made kind of an early run. Looked like he was loaded around the turn, made the lead. The cavalry was coming. DRC All-Inclusive setback, come around about 6 wide here into the stretch, but was loaded with the fading Chip Van Winkle.
It's almost like Chip Van Winkle was almost too fresh off the
Yep.
plate, right? Because he's a horse that normally sits farther back, and he was closer today, and it ended up sort of being his undoing.
In the end, it's DRC All-Inclusive. Ramon Vasquez for Federico Villafranco. 3-1-A-4 finish in the 3rd from Oaklawn. Meanwhile, back in New York, it's Applicator taking race 5 here. Kendrick Carmouche aboard for trainer Brad Cox.
Yeah, and Kendrick Carmouche, known for being one of the top speed riders here at Aqueduct and all of New York, and set back with the patient trip, and he gets his 5th lifetime victory today.
Wonder if this one was claimed. It felt like they were kind of dangling this one out there. Been running well for a much higher tag. First star of the year on the turf course, and they entered over 25. Maybe the last one for the Brad Cox barn.
Early pick 5, $154. I feel like the Naira Bets late pick 5 can do better.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out.
Find out.
We're going to take a break in the action. Part of that Naira Bets late pick 5. Bayshore with Mind Control and Mucho. That's right before it kicks off, actually. Those two in a rematch. Top 2 finishers from the Grade 1 hopeful reuniting in the Bayshore. We'll have that for you live when we come back. Stay with us.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Our show brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Great to have you with us on a sensational Saturday of action. We're just getting started.
Three of them still going at it. Mind Control, Nitrous, and Mucho. They continue to race across the track, and Mind Control is clinging to the lead. Mucho on the outside is second best to Mind Control in the Hopeful.
Was the horse everybody was talking about off a sensational maiden score for Bill Mott, but in the end, Mind Control gives Gregory Sacco his first Grade 1 win after 30 years of training.
And Mind Control has been a model consistency. A lousy trip in the Breeders' Cup is really his only poor race, but he had a big excuse. He was, though, able to get away with a fairly tepid pace, and I think Gary and I agree. With much better in here, he's not getting away with that on the front end today.
I was actually surprised that he wasn't in the wood today, stretching back out. I was surprised they dropped back in. To me, in the Gotham, he looked like a horse that wanted more ground, so I was a little surprised they shortened back up today.
I like to see the connections decide. Let's not go for the Derby. We don't really feel he's that kind of horse, and let's run in these sprint races because Naira has a tremendous series of sprint races with 3-year-olds, including 2 Grade 1s.
Trainer might have been agreeing with you a little bit. I think he wanted to press on, but got outvoted to go in this spot instead. But again, we may see him in the Triple Crown down the line, especially with a huge effort this afternoon. Meanwhile, back at Oaklawn, DRC All-Inclusive with the win. How about this price to kick things off? 9-1, $20.60. Chip Van Winkle runs second. Greeley's Spirit rounds out the trifecta that comes back $256 for a $2 wager. Remind everyone, get involved. Share your posts on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook using the hashtag ABR at the races. Share your winnings, your fashion, your food, your fun, all of it. And our question today from at ABR Live, America's Best Racing. It's Final Four time in Racing 2. There are only 4 100-point Kentucky Derby prep races, and one of them being run, 3 of them, sorry, being run today. Who do you think the winner comes out of in that spot?
Well, I think the Santa Anita Derby probably has 3 really top contenders. So as far as numbers, whereas maybe the Bluegrass only has the 1 major player, there are a few in the Wood Memorial and Arkansas. Isn't it really improbable in the others next week?
We'll see. It's going to be very interesting. Bob Baffert with a couple of big ones out on the West Coast today.
Look, I'm not brave enough to pick anybody for the Kentucky Derby right now, let alone these races today. They're all wide open. I've got some horses with my eye on, but not going to step out yet.
Long way to go, right, until we get to that point. We're going to take a quick break in the action. We'll be back and head out to Santa Anita with stakes action ahead next.
Warfront has sired 8 champions and 10 millionaires. Recent Grade 1 winners include Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy Flag, plus 2019 Kentucky Derby hopeful War of Will. He's also sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, and international super sire on all surfaces and all fronts. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
For a commercial farm like us in Frankfurt Park, you have to get value for money. Uvetzi won a Grade 3 in California.
Big performance by Uvetzi.
And then we bred Take Charge Paula.
Take Charge Paula with the win.
When we can get some of these WinStar dollars, as far as we're concerned, it's the same as real money because we're just putting it back in again there for the coming year. Over the next couple of years, I think it's going to become even more important.
We are back, and you have a chance to see how your handicapping stacks up against other fans with a showdown. It's a free online game following the racing on our program this afternoon from Aqueduct, Oaklawn, and Santa Anita. Place your free picks, and you're competing for real prizes like a grand prize ticket package to the 2019 Belmont Stakes. Visit NYRA.com/showdown and get your selections in. We have the Grade 3 Bayshore with Mind Control, Mucho, Much Better, and Call Paul coming up. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
Couldn't ask for a more contentious field than what we see here for this Grade 3 Bayshore, Greg. As we'll talk about Much Better first off the bat. He'll break from the inside, and what's interesting is that the 3 other horses in here, in Mucho, Call Paul, and Mind Control, they all look like sprinters. They're stocky, they're a little more stout, and very much of that quarter horse kind of frame. But Much Better, he is very elegant, he's very tall, almost looks like a turf horse, as Bob Baffert tried him twice, going a mile on the turf course. But at the end of the day, what's ironic is he may actually be the fastest of them all here, and boy, is he beautiful. And I even like him more this time around than what I did going into the Gotham, where he ran extremely valiant. I mean, to set the fractions that he did and still only get beat a length and a half, that was pretty remarkable. And I think getting back to the 7 furlongs looks to be ideal. We'll see if the game plan is to go from the rail, but I don't see why he shouldn't be able to control this race, and he just looks fantastic here. As we'll check in with number 2, that is Mucho. He's the one second off of that long layoff for Bill Mott. Got back to the races. He was 1 to 5 that day, and he got the job done in a workmanlike fashion. You would have liked to seen something a little bit more brilliant, kind of reminiscent of what he displayed at Saratoga and breaking his maiden. But then again, maybe he needed the proverbial race. He does look extremely fit here, but of the 4, he's the only one that's kind of gotten a little hot underneath the collar. So I don't love to see that. We'll see if it has any bearing on how he runs here today. But in regards to his progression from 2 to 3, well, he has filled out. And I like the fact that they're keeping this guy at sprint distances at the 7 furlongs here today. But guys, as I throw it back up to you, it's really hard to pick apart these 4 horses in this Bayshore.
Now, you can make a case certainly for all four. Can Mucho turn the tables on Mind Control after they met in the Hopeful back as 2-year-olds? We're going to find out soon enough. We shift gears, head out to Santa Anita. The Evening Jewel is at 6.5 furlongs for 3-year-old fillies. And right now 3-5 on Sneaking Out as we get a look at our field. With the post-parade Settle It for Doug O'Neill. Kicks things off, just one going down the hill on the turf course.
Broker made in the turf. She has never done any running in her 3 dirt races.
Silk from Heaven, we'll see next at 15-1 on the board. Had a big maiden score on the dirt, then tried going long on the grass.
Yeah, she's another one going turf to dirt, but she would have to run faster than her maiden win.
As Juan Flores will ride that 15-1 shot. The 3, Violet Zabo for Phil D'Amato.
Ran once in September and was beaten by 35.5 lengths. Tough spot for the return.
Yeah, beat 2 horses home in that race. Naughty Tiger is the 4 for Ed Freeman. Had back-to-back wins at Santa Anita and Del Mar.
Yeah, she has some early speed. We'll see. She may be up against it.
Lippy at 4-1. Sent out by Doug O'Neill. The 5 filly in here by Square Eddie.
She ran her best career race in the turf. A very good effort last time out, but she'd need to improve on the dirt surface.
Our 3-5 favorite here is Sneaking Out. Drayden Van Dyke for Hall of Famer Jerry Hollendorfer.
Ran a huge effort to break her maiden 2 back. They prepped for her first start as a 3-year-old in synthetic. A FASA winner. She's absolutely the one to beat.
Ruby Bradley, big long shot at 39-1 for Phil D'Amato.
Well, she tries dirt after unsuccessfully trying the turf in 2 starts.
Gary Sherlock sent out Time for Kisses. Been off since May of 2018.
Has never run beyond 4.5 furlongs.
And on the outside, Dr. Wysong at 7-1 currently. Another Phil D'Amato runner.
I thought she was the likeliest upsetter off a nice win in a maiden race last time out.
Flavian Pratt will be aboard. Dr. Wysong, our Santa Anita coverage is brought to you by the California Thoroughbred Breeders Association. It pays to be Calbred. You can check in now with Paul LaDuca for the first time on the show. Paul, how you doing?
Thanks, Greg. And you're looking at a 3-5 shot here with Sneaking Out, and it doesn't look like she's going to get beaten here. When you look at the other contenders in here, Lippy, like Andy said, best career number was on the turf. If you look at her dirt numbers, they really don't compare to Sneaking Out. And Dr. Wysong on the outside, I thought she was very impressive. She got beat by the 1 in here who was 30-1 on the turf, 2 back. But she's a better dirt horse. And when I get to the favorite here, Sneaking Out, I just don't see it here, guys, at 3-5. I think it's a single to start your early pick 4.
Well, that's a look at 12-1 shot. Time for Kisses. 1 coming off a long layoff, but yeah, very short price on Sneaking Out. We'll get back to this race in a moment. Want to check back in again here at Aqueduct in New York on the Grade 3 Bayshore. Let's go again to Maggie.
Horses on the track for the Bayshore, and I'm joined by trainer of Mind Control, Greg Sacco. And Greg, a horse that you made the decision to cut back a bit in distance. I know maybe not your decision primarily. Your brother Rick had something to do with it, of course, but kind of talk about the thought process in doing so today.
Well, they just thought at this stage of his development, and he's been so spot on at 7/8 up to a mile, that this would be the best path for him. And so I agree with it, and they didn't want him to get churned up in the Derby. Even though it was a dream of everybody's and there was a considerable thought running in the wood, we thought this race would be the best path for him right now, leading into the Woody Stevens and possibly the Alan Jerkins at Saratoga, if he continues to stay healthy and perform well.
Talk about doing right by the horse, that's for sure. And what's interesting about this compact field is that they've all taken turns beating each other. They've all met. How do you see this race shaping up?
Well, it's a 4-horse field, but you couldn't have packed 4 horses into a better heat. Arguably, any one of them popped up and won today, I wouldn't be surprised. It's a very competitive field with all in good form, and it should be a hell of a race.
Well, Greg, wishing you the best of luck. Can't wait to watch it.
Thank you.
All right, Greg, we'll see how Mind Control does as we'll send it back up to you.
Well, he's exactly right. It is quality over quantity in that Grade 3 Bayshore, and what a moment for him to get his first ever career Grade 1 in the Hopeful last summer.
Yeah, that was an exciting way to end the meet. It feels like it was just yesterday that we were all in Saratoga for that race. You know, this is a 4-horse field, but you can have a 10-horse field where there aren't 4 horses as good as there are in this race. There's no fluff.
Meanwhile, it's back to the Evening Jewel at Santa Anita, and again, 3-5 on Sneaking Out, trying to win 3 in a row. So wins at Del Mar as a 2-year-old. 3-year-old debut actually comes on synthetic at Golden Gate.
Yeah, and she's just a complete standout on paper. These are state-bred Calbreds in this race, so Phil D'Amato, the trainer of Sneaking Out, well, that's actually Jerry Hollendorfer, but if I'm going to take a long shot in here, it's going to be the bottom horse who's actually second favorite, and Dr. Wysong.
I agree. Bet a couple dollars to win, make it exact a box, and press the 6-9 and hope you can beat the favorite. I can't see anyone else.
It's the Evening Jewel from Santa Anita on Santa Anita Oaks in Derby Day, and Sneaking Out, breaking from post 6, trying to rail off her third consecutive victory for Hall of Fame trainer Jerry Hollendorfer. Frank Miramati with the call.
Dr. Wysong to the outside. And they're off. Sneaking Out bobbled slightly, but recovers immediately and is up to take the lead. Naughty Tiger, Dr. Wysong on the far outside is in third. Then Lippy, Violent Zabo now moving into contention, a joint third, and now taking the third spot for herself. They're followed by Settle It on the inside of Ruby Bradley. Silk from Heaven and Time for Kisses is at the back. Down the backstretch they go. It's Naughty Tiger dueling with Violent Zabo along the inside. 3 clear of Sneaking Out in third. At the rails, Settle It is a joint fourth. Outside of her comes Lippy, now taking the fourth spot, 5 lengths off the lead. Ruby Bradley is inside of her, a gap of 3 back to Dr. Wysong. Silk from Heaven is racing in between horses, passed by a 3 wide. Time for Kisses. They're coming to the quarter pole, and Sneaking Out makes a nice move with the quarter of a mile to go. Opens up a length and a half on Violent Zabo in second. Naughty Tiger, Yellow Cap, losing a bit of ground in third. Then Ruby Bradley, followed by Lippy. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go, and Sneaking Out pours it on now. Opens up 4 lengths. Dr. Wysong picking it up on the inside to move into second. Late, but it will be Sneaking Out to score in the Evening Jewel. Sneaking Out wins it by 2.5. Dr. Wysong a good second. Tight photo for third between Violent Zabo and Ruby Bradley. Silk from Heaven was 5th.
Sneaking Out sneaks away from the field and now has reeled off 3 consecutive victories at 3 different racetracks.
And Drayden Van Dyke riding Sneaking Out like a 1-9 shot supposed to be ridden. Stayed out of her way and just comfortable on her. Sitting chilly on her coming into the stretch. Never had to go to the whip on her, and wins with authority.
Yeah, she was just much the best in here. The second horse, Dr. Wysong, made a nice little run to be second, but this one, the margin may have been a little closer than it had to be.
We may have had a 50-1 shot in third here as well. Very close for third between the 3 and the 7. No doubt about your winner, though. Sneaking Out, daughter of Indian Evening for Jerry Hollendorfer. KMN Racing, the easy winner.
And the 3, the 50-1 shot, was the one that ran once at Del Mar and was beat a pole. Phil D'Amato knew what he was doing running in here.
Yes, he did.
Back to the Grade 3 Bayshore, and what a lineup this is. And not a big surprise right now. Whenever Bob Baffert comes east, he takes attention on the tote board. Much better, 6-5.
You know, I mean, Gary and I have sort of agree on this one. This horse was sensational last time. He cuts back a furlong. He's the controlling speed. I think the only knock on him, Gary, he looks too good.
Yeah, he does. And if somebody's going to go with him, I think it's the outside horse. Call Paul might be laying second in here, and if the track is playing as fast as it is, look for those two to battle it out through the stretch.
I really think they could be 1-2, and Call Paul did get left last time, but the outside post may be easier to break cleanly.
Mucho, we talked so much about this horse last summer with that brilliant maiden score. What did you think about his comeback race at Gulfstream?
It was a useful effort. I remember Gary commented on it earlier in the show, and I agree with him that he would be able to bounce off of that and run better in his next start. We want to see him run back and then build on that Saratoga race, and we just haven't had the chance to do that yet.
There's the Claiborne runner and those silks of Adele Dilschneider, homebred for Claiborne.
Yeah, and you know, it shows in his form, in his pedigree, that he's supposed to step up with more distance. And Billy Mott, no better trainer out there than planning a horse's future, and he's taken the logical step off of the layoff from 6 furlongs up to the 7 furlongs, second time back today.
And there, of course, is Mind Control. We heard from Gregory Sacco. Said it was not his decision, but he definitely sees the point. The Triple Crown can be so hard on horses, and they know what he's good at already. 7 furlongs is in his wheelhouse.
And while I'm not thrilled with his chances today, obviously he can win, I like to see connections rewarded for doing right by their horse, and I think that's what they're doing here.
Yeah, and he's got a plan throughout the summer for him, naming his possible next start in the Woody Stevens, which is on Belmont weekend here in a a month and a half, so the timing's right, and they do have a plan for Mind Control moving forward the rest of the year.
Well, and they had a plan with Call Paul, the 4-horse, as well. They tried him on the Triple Crown Trail late in his 2-year-old season. Now it seems like those plans have changed. He's reeled off back-to-back wins sprinting.
And people talk about how Mind Control and Mucho met in the Hopeful. Well, Call Paul beat Mind Control in both of their debuts way back at Delaware. Call Paul's last is better than it looks, and the second-place finisher came back and ran extremely well, setting a fast pace in the Tampa Bay Derby and finishing 4th.
Yeah, Zenden in that race, pretty good horse in his own right, but you know, much better is my choice in this race today, but it could go to any one of these 4.
Let's get a quick thought from Maggie.
And my quick thought, guys, as well, I like Much Better in here. Call Paul just has this persona about him. He's so confident. He gets out in the track and he just floats over the surface. And for me, I kind of wanted one that had the option of looking at the rest inside of him and making his move when he wanted to. So I'm going with Call Paul here today. Greg?
Triple Crown winning connections of Bob Baffert, Victor Espinosa with Much Better from the rail. Mucho and Mind Control, a rematch of their hopeful from last summer as 2-year-olds at Saratoga. And, of course, the swell winner, the 4-horse, Call Paul, loaded with talent in this 4-horse field. Here's the Grade 3 Bayshore, Larry Colmus with the call.
They're off in the Bayshore. Much Better is sent out of there immediately to the front, with Mucho moving up alongside of Mind Control to grab second early on, and Call Paul will trail the field. Much Better and Mucho locked in early battle here. Mind Control is just to the outside of them. Call Paul will sit off the speed and be 4th early on, just 3.5 lengths behind Much Better, who runs by the opening quarter in 22.33 seconds and leads a length and a half. Now, Mind Control pokes his head into second outside of Mucho. Call Paul still rated off the pace with a half-mile to run. Victor Espinosa and Much Better lead the charge in the Bayshore on the far turn. Mind Control, handridden now, moving up alongside in second. Mucho has come under pressure, third on the inside. Call Paul still trails the field. It is Much Better in front, drifting off the rail after a 45.14 half-mile. Mind Control is second on the outside. Call Paul comes wide. Mucho put to pressure, cuts the corner. They're into the stretch with Much Better to catch. Mind Control ranges up alongside and at the 8th pole pokes ahead in front. Much Better battles on from the inside. Call Paul is third. Mind Control, a stubborn Much Better, won't give in. Mind Control and John Velasquez. Much Better and Victor Espinosa. Mind Control's got it. Mind Control takes the Bayshore. Much Better was second. Call Paul was third in a final time of
What a stretch. Dual Connections felt he was elite as a sprinter, as a 3-year-old division, and he proves it again here. Mind Control with a Grade 3 win.
Well, when they won a Grade 1 before, that class shows through, and it showed through today. But when we take a look at this replay, look at Much Better coming into the stretch. Victor Espinosa right now, it looks like he's taking a big hold of this horse, trying to slow him down. He's actually trying to drift out. He's drifting out coming off the turn. This isn't his intention to be 4 wide right now. You're going to see him swap into his right lead perfectly here, but he starts drifting out again, and Victor's getting after him on the shoulder, trying to hold him in, but goes left-handed there, and he fights back a little bit, but the class of Mind Control just too much.
No question about it. Mind Control, what a terrific horse. I mean, other than that Breeders' Cup where he had a bad trip, he shows up and runs a big race every single time he runs, and Much Better had no real excuse on the racetrack. You point out him drifting, but he's supposed to win, and Mind Control's just better.
Yeah, he had everything his own way. The fractions were realistic. It's not like he was going out there 21-2, 44. The fractions were legit for this type of race. It's a Grade 3 for a Grade 1 type horse, and we're going to hear more and more from the winner, Mind Control, as the year goes on.
They said thinking Woody Stevens next, that's on Belmont Day, but they said with a huge performance, they could think about the Preakness potentially. Should they be tempted?
Well, they can see what happens to Kentucky Derby, but the Woody Stevens a Grade 1 now.
And it carries, yeah, exactly. It carries its own prestige. Keep on the track, John. I think they will. His next step is back up to a mile on Belmont Day.
Mind Control, Much Better. Call Paul, Mucho, your top 4 runners in the Grade 3 Bayshore. We're going to take a break in the action. 2 of the top 3-year-old fillies in the country going head-to-head, chasing yesterday the sister to American Pharoah and the great Bellafina in action when we come back.
Eclipse champion Blame was considered by many as the breakout stallion of 2018. His top runners included Grade 1 winner and Eclipse Award finalist Marley's Freedom, plus Grade 1 winner Fault and graded stakes winners Maraud, Beyond Blame, Miss Kentucky, and Blamed. His yearling sold up to $500,000, and his sensational daughter Fault brought $1.2 million at the November sale. Outstanding results, outstanding value. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We are back in our sensational Saturday of action here, brought to you in parts by the champion sprinter Run Happy. Never lost in his career while sprinting. Perfect 7 for 7, 3-time Grade 1 winning millionaire. Now standing in legendary stall 1 at Claiborne Farm. Grade 3 Bayshore in the books. And the hopeful winner adds another graded stakes win to his resume. Mind Control wins for Gregory Sacco, Red Oak Stable and Mataket Stables.
I'm just glad to see Saul Cuban be part of a big win. He hasn't won a big race in about
It's
20
hurting.
minutes.
It's been hurting for a big win,
about 20.
Well, this is great for Gregory Sacco. Been in the game for so long. First ever Grade 1 win with this horse in the Hopeful. And now this horse setting himself up for what looks to be a very strong campaign as a sprinter. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
It's funny how emotions change, because I remember interviewing you, Greg, after the Hopeful, and today was more of a sense of relief when Mind Control stuck his head in front in this Bayshore.
Yes, it was. You know, he's proven himself time and time again since the Hopeful, and he's a genuine horse, and, you know, we're blessed to have him in the barn.
And do you continue down the same path that you discussed? Is there any kind of, Preakness dreaming going on?
Probably not. My brother's pretty strict with his decisions. So I think we'll point towards the Woody Stevens, and we'll savor this win and point for that.
And Greg, you'll also send out Jovia in the Wood Memorial today. A horse that's kind of steadily progressing for you, and seems as though he's liking a little bit more ground. Is that true? I
think so. You know, he's a stayer. He ran against a really talented colt in Always Mining last time, and he galloped out strong. You know, we have a tough post today. We're hoping that we can work out a nice trip, and hopefully he'll run his race.
Well, Greg, best of luck later, but congratulations. Nice win here in the Bayshore.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mag.
All right, once again, Mind Control. He proves he's in control of this 3-year-old sprint division.
He certainly did. And by the way, Jovia, interesting long shot. Gregory Sacco's work not done today. We'll preview that Wood Memorial a little bit later on. Did we find our single for the Woody Stevens?
No.
Not yet.
No, it's,
okay,
it's
you're
in
not
2
convinced.
months. I'm not trying to pick races 2 months. I'm having trouble with the ones running today.
Grade 3 Excelsior coming up next at 1 1/8 miles, $150,000 purse, 4-year-olds and up. And this starts the Naira Bets late pick 5. We might need a single from you in this sequence, though.
World of Trouble is my single.
Okay.
Actually, I've smoked him out as a single. You know, it was hard. I like Nicodemus in here. Obviously, that's the one horse with the scratch of Discreet Lover, changed the race. I'm going to use the 1 Nicodemus in this race, and the 3 Monongahela. I don't understand the money for Life's a Parlay. The next race, the Gazelle, where I think it's basically wide open, but I'm going to use 2 Positive Spirit, the 4, and the 6 Proud Emma. I'm singling World of Trouble. To me, it's him or, there are others, but he's way the worst to beat. Using 4 in the Wood Memorial, Tacitus, Final Jeopardy, Over Deliver, and Outshine. And I'm going to use 4 in the last, the 1 entry, 1 and 1A, 6, 8, and 9, $32 play. Very, I'll tell you what, we're going off the air and the Wood Memorial's coming up. Stick around for the last race, the 11th today. Might be the race of the day.
A lot of ways to go. You could potentially go in that race. I know you were so high on Vino Rosso after that win in the Stymie, so I'll be interested to see if he can take another step forward here in his 4-year-old campaign.
I'm looking forward to it. And talking about the race right now, the Excelsior, Life's a Parlay. I liked him a little bit. Horse on the bottom, getting the action. He is a favorite for Todd Pletcher and John Velasquez. He might be lone speed in here. Get loose. He's never been this far before. Furthest he's been is a mile, but he's by Uncle Mo. Could get loose on the lead from that outside draw. Just saying.
Yeah, it's possible, but man, he's a short price.
Back at Santa Anita, sneaking out 1-2 wins for the Hall of Famer Jerry Hollendorfer, and this 3-year-old filly has now reeled off 3 in a row. We go to Michelle Yu.
Standing here with Jerry Hollendorfer, trainer of Sneaking Out. Jerry, there was nothing sneaky about that. She was well-intended from the get-go. Were you expecting a performance like that?
She's been doing really well, and she bobbled a little bit and yet made the lead and then Drayden East off her when he should have, when the other two horses went up to the lead. So she knows how to sit now, and I think that makes her a better horse.
Did you have a little bit of confidence extra because she's already beaten open horses and she was coming back to Calbreds even though it was stakes company?
I didn't think of it that way, but I'll go along with that if you want.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Great Calbred win there.
He's so agreeable, the Hall of Famer. I love it.
He's getting soft in his older age.
Of course, he'll have Instagram going later today. We'll see if he can get back on track. We saw him out here in New York in the Gotham. So highly regarded. He'll be in that Santa Anita Derby. That's a look at the field for the Santa Anita Oaks. The Great Bellafina at 1-9 on the board. Going head-to-head with Chasing Yesterday, the half to American Pharoah for Bob Baffert as we look at the Kentucky Oaks leaderboard. Chasing Yesterday, 4th on that list with 60 points. Espresso Shot, we'll see later today. She's up there as well as we round out all the way past the top 20 in here. Quite a few names we're going to see in action today.
Yeah, and Bellafina, she's got 32 points. Look for her to add to that today. Does she have to win? Not necessarily.
I'm trying to beat her. I really think the horse on the inside, Florida Del Lamar, has a chance in here, and I'm going to bet a little on her. I'm going to box 1-5. 5-1 Exact is paying $8 for $1 right now in a 4-horse field, Gary. I can't resist that.
Yeah, and Baffert with the double-edged sword with Chasing Yesterday as well. Mike Smith climbing back aboard today.
All right, we're looking forward to this. One of the great head-to-head matchups that we've been talking about all year long. There's been a lot of anticipation for this matchup. Of course, Bellafina, the overwhelming favorite right now in the Santa Anita Oaks. And part of her team is Carlos Santamaria. He's an assistant with Simon Callahan. While Carlos has been dealing with an illness, it's horses who have helped get him through each day in another edition of I Am Horse Racing.
I'm Carlos Santamaria, and I'm an assistant trainer. I love everything about the horses that are in my life. This is the main thing we live for. You know, we got up in the mornings thinking about having a good day, a better day, and give everything for these horses. In my case, even when I'm going through dialysis, you know, doctors and medicines, they've been helping me. For me, especially in my case, this is what it gives me life. This is what I'm living for, you know, the horses. And you can feel that love, you know. When I came to the barn and I was touching the horses, I can feel like, oh, I feel better, like I can do it. Every day, I can feel like my strength is getting better and stronger, and there's no better medicine than this. I Am Horse Racing.
What a matchup we have coming up here. The leader of the division, Bellafina, going up against Chasing Yesterday, and a couple other good runners in here as well, including Bob Baffert with another horse down on the rail, and Flor de Lamar, but 1-5 on Bellafina right now.
Well, I have a question. Is she the leader of the division because Jaywalk didn't run well in her last race? What if Jaywalk bounces back in the Ashland today?
Yeah, I mean, still to be determined.
Yeah.
But right now, at this moment, with Jaywalk having lost,
yeah,
I'd say she is.
The whole division has blown up a little bit. And Bellafina, I'm not so sure that she wants the distance of 1 1/8 in the Santa Anita Oaks. I think she might be more of a 7/8 type. She's definitely a very, very good filly. She's proven that. But I think that she can be gotten to. And let's not forget, her worst performance was at Churchill Downs in the Breeders' Cup.
No, I agree. She was bad that day, and she really looked good going in. I'm a little skeptical of her going longer, and I wonder if ultimately, if she doesn't run well in a race like that, do they try the mile in the Acorn at Belmont and Belmont Stakes Day, and then a race like the Test at Saratoga?
Hey, it's got good people managing. Simon Callahan, not afraid to do what's right by the horse either. Kaleem Shaw, the owner. You know, she's already Grade 1 winner.
Simon Callahan said, I could not be happier with the way she is coming into this race. We start off with 1 of 2 for Bob Baffert. Here's Flor de Lamar, daughter of Tiz Now.
Liked her debut, and she won her debut at 1-5. She did not run well on a sloppy sealed track last time, but back on a dry track.
The half-sister, the Triple Crown champion American Pharoah, who's Chasing Yesterday. She's won 4 in a row.
You can't knock a horse that's 5 for 6. She is running against significantly better than she met in her last start.
Slew, good to be true, reeled off back-to-back wins and then struggled in the Fairgrounds Oaks.
It's funny, a lot of horses didn't show up in the Fairgrounds Oaks, including one of the favorites in the Demoiselle. She needs to bounce back.
And even on the West Coast in that win last start, Bellafina showed maybe a little chink in her armor. She only won by 3/4 of a length.
Well, I think as Gary said, I mean, it's 1:16 today, an extra 16, but I think as the distances get longer, you have to question her at least a little bit.
Let's head out to Santa Anita, check in with Paul LaDuca.
Thanks, Greg. Here with Simon Callahan, trainer of the odds-on favorite here in Bellafina, multiple Grade 1 winner. A lot of people saying she regressed last time in the Las Virgenes. What did you think?
You know, she took a lot of heat on the front end, got pressured the whole way, and still gritted it out. So I think, you know, it was a good performance, and you couldn't really have asked much more of her, I don't think.
She schooled in the paddock yesterday. She looked amazing. A lot of people also questioning the distance. Is the mile and the 16th up her alley?
You know, she's won a Grade 1 over a mile and a 16th over this course. You know, it'll be, you know, I think we'll find out, you know, the next couple of races exactly what her optimum distance is. But, you know, it's obvious she's very talented, so let's hope she gets the distance.
And the last question is, everybody wants to know, is she fully cranked for today? Because obviously the biggest prize is going to be the first Friday in May, the Oaks.
She's ready. She really is. She's not missed a beat. You know, she had a good foundation with those 2 races earlier in the year, which is kind of was our plan. And, you know, she's been on a good path since. And, you know, she's ready for this race. And, you know, we're just looking forward to it.
Well, Greg, he told me it's a little bit more nervous to be 1-5 than 5-1.
No, certainly you got the target on your back. How do you know that you're a Hall of Famer? When you've won 4 consecutive Santa Anita Oaks and you didn't even realize it. That's how many big wins Gary Stevens has in his career. His 5th Santa Anita Oaks was with that man right there, Simon Callahan, with Fashion Plate.
Yeah, and Simon does a great job. And sorry, I didn't know that, Bob.
You've won too many. It's okay. You can't keep track of them.
Did Serena's song win the Santa Anita Oaks?
Yes, she did, but I wasn't on her.
No?
Corey Nakatani was on her. I got back on her in the Black-Eyed Susan that year after she competed in the Kentucky Derby.
What a horse she was.
Yes,
Among
she
those
was.
4, of course, the great winning colors who would go on to win the Kentucky Derby. You and D. Wayne Lucas did some damage in this race.
Yes, we did, and she was beaten the race before the Santa Anita Oaks, and a pretty good filly beat her that day in Goodbye Halo that wound up running 3rd in that famous Breeders' Cup
with Personal Ensign.
Well, let's take a look at that Las Virgenes from Bellafina and see what we're talking about. Maybe not as impressive as most of her other victories.
Yeah, you heard Simon talk that she was being chased all the way. I think she's going to get chased again today from the inside filly, Flor de la Mar. And chasing yesterday, Bob Baffert's other filly could put pressure on her early too. So she's going to get some company providing everybody breaks well today. She is not the lone speed today, so look for her to be under pressure again early on.
Are you surprised she's 1-5? I mean, I know, listen, she's the horse to beat. I think there's a chance she loses, but she's way the horse to beat. 1-5?
No, I'm not surprised. If you see this filly in person, she keeps growing. She's gorgeous. I saw her schooling the other day, and, I mean, she's pretty coming off the racetrack. She's one of those that walks by in the morning. There can be 200 head of horses you've seen. When she walks by, you go, wow, she catches your eye. So not only can she run, she has the looks to go with it. And as you heard Simon say, she's thriving right now. So I'm not surprised.
And I would have to think, and you alluded to this a little bit, I have to be very specific instructions for Joel Rosario, right, with the 1 horse?
Well, I mean, as Gary, I agree.
She's in here to put pressure on Bellafina, right?
Well, I don't think she's a rabbit for chasing yesterday. I just think she's naturally a fast horse on the inside.
Yeah, and she's trained by Godolphin. And one thing about Joel, he's a reaction-type rider. He's going to come away from there. He's going to do what feels right. Bob doesn't give the top riders a ton of instructions. I can guarantee he told Joe, just feel it and ride it from what happens off the break.
She's 5-1 on the board. Flor de la Mar from that inside post, of course. Baffert with chasing yesterday, trying to win her 5th consecutive victory. She won the Solon Park Oaks last time out, but it is Bellafina's race to lose, and there she is, trying to remain perfect as a 3-year-old. The Santa Anita Oaks is next.
Run Happy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Run Happy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we've had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
The Kentucky Derby is a race that we all want to capture. But what he did in the Florida Derby, that got me dreaming.
But inside the 16th pole, the 2017 Florida Derby to Todd Pletcher, and always dreaming they won it by 4 in the end.
Anytime you ever would go to see him in his breezes or in his races, you knew that he was the real deal. You really would get excited about what he was going to do for the future. I'm Jacob West, and this season, I'm always dreaming.
High-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
Welcome to Fox Sports Saturday at the races. Great to have you with us. America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. They bring you this program in part, and we appreciate their sponsorship. Great to have you with us. So many great races coming up this afternoon, including a tremendous showdown out on the West Coast between Bellafina and Chasing Yesterday. Greg Wolf alongside Hall of Famer Gary Stevens, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. A lot of anticipation for this matchup. We're going to get out there right now as they make their way to the starting gate. Let's check in with Paul LaDuca.
American Pharoah's little sister Chasing Yesterday. I was wondering why he's willing her back so quickly to face a filly like Bellafina. He said two things. Listen, it's a 4-horse race. And the other thing about it was she has not broken well. She did not break well in the Starlet. She did not break well last time in Sunland. And he thinks that she needs more fitness. So he's like, you know what? Let's run her today and take a shot against Bellafina, guys.
Well, got the right pilot on board. Mike Smith making a jockey change from Drayden Van Dyke. He won this race last year, and of course he won back in 2016 with Songbird.
And you know, when he talks about her not breaking well, she does it to herself. It's not that she's not quick from the blocks. If you watch her in her last race, she got in the starting gate. She was standing good. When the last horse got in there, I don't know if it's the noise that's making her get tight or what, but she actually gets back on her haunches, and instead of breaking flatly and evenly, she tries to push off with her hind legs and goes straight up in the air, and she lost about 2 lengths in the Sunland Park Oaks. And then she kind of got keen with Drayden Van Dyke today. Mike Smith rode her first 2 outs of her lifetime. He's back on today.
What can you do, though, with a horse like that, other than pray?
Just keep him settled.
A showdown between two superstars from Post 2, the half-sister to Triple Crown winner American Pharoah, Chasing Yesterday. She's won 4 in a row, and the great Bellafina, will she be the favorite for the Kentucky Oaks with a win? Here's Frank Miramati.
And they're off in the Santa Anita Oaks. A beautiful beginning and an even 1-2. Flor de la Mar goes to the front. Slew Good to Be True. Bellafina and Chasing Yesterday will be at the back in the early stages. Flor de la Mar hugs the rail and takes the lead into the first turn. With Slew Good to Be True, now Chasing Yesterday is moving up in between those two. Bellafina got caught 4 wide, but is only a length and a half off the lead as they make their way onto the backstretch. And Chasing Yesterday goes on with it now. Leads 3/4 of a length over her stablemate, Flor de la Mar. Bellafina and Slew Good to Be True are right together. 2 lengths covers the field. They have 5/8 of a mile to go in the Santa Anita Oaks. And it's Chasing Yesterday, 3/4 of a length to Bellafina second. Flor de la Mar keeping pace with the top pair along the inside third. Slew Good to Be True now has about 3.5 to make up, less than a half mile to run. Chasing Yesterday, Flor de la Mar cuts right back into that margin, and Flor de la Mar takes the lead 3 furlongs from home. Bellafina is 3 wide, a length and a half off Flor de la Mar, and Slew Good to Be True has fallen far behind. They're coming to the quarter pole, and Bellafina's cut loose now, and Bellafina takes the lead. Flor de la Mar will make her work for it. Chasing Yesterday is in between them. Top of the stretch, Bellafina. Flor de la Mar cannot match strides with her, and Bellafina opens up a length and a half. Now it's 2. Flor de la Mar Chasing Yesterday. Bellafina dazzling once again. And it will be Bellafina What a nice performance. A very easy victory in the Santa Anita Oaks by 4.5 widening lengths. Fleur de Lamar was second, chasing yesterday third, then slew Good to Be True.
So much for vulnerability after that narrow margin of victory in the last Virgin is impressive from Bellafina.
Yeah, probably the only person that wasn't having any anxious moments watching that race was the guy sitting on her back, Flavien Prat. They went extremely slow fractions, which you had saved would have fallen into chasing yesterday in Fleur de Lamar's early annex there, but it actually paid off for Bellafina.
She was just a dominant winner of this race, just much better than these horses, and showing why she was a heavy favorite.
Yeah, you know what I liked most about this race was her ability to relax early on and finish up, and she's going to need to do that if she's going to get a mile and 1/8. Watching this, she's by Quality Road. She'll get the mile and 1/8. I'm convinced of after what I see today.
Do you care what Jaywalk does later today in the Ashland? Should Bellafina be the favorite?
Well, I mean, Jaywalk beat her fair and square at Churchill Downs. So, yes, if Jaywalk runs well today, I don't know that there's a big gap necessarily between the second and third finishers near, and maybe Jaywalk and some other horses, maybe a Restless Rider. I think Bellafina is very good, but she's going to have to overcome what was a terrible performance in the Breeders' Cup last year.
And wide all the way around the racetrack here. I know it was only a 4-horse field.
Yeah, but he knows what he's setting on. I'm telling you, this filly has just gotten bigger, stronger, and faster as she's progressed through her races.
Perfect 3 for 3 in her 3-year-old campaign here. Bellafina takes the Grade 1 Santa Anita Oaks, and it's on to the first Friday in May. Let's go to Michelle Yu.
Okay, we're ready. Thanks, guys. Here with Simon Callahan right now. I had goosebumps. What were your reaction to that filly pulling away down the stretch?
Yeah, that's what we wanted to see. I mean, it worked out perfectly. We kept her wide and just let them kind of figure out what they wanted to do. And, you know, she relaxed great. And then when Flavien wanted her, she was right there. So that was great.
She seems that she's had several gears in this race. I mean, is that something you've been working on with her?
Yeah, I just love the way she's really relaxing. And, you know, going these further distances, that's really important. And, you know, to me, she relaxed great. And then she was there when Flavien wanted her. It's perfect.
On to the first Friday in May.
That's the plan.
Multiple Grade 1 winner, Bellafina here, guys.
Michelle, thank you very much. It is certainly on to Kentucky after that performance. 6 wins now from 8 career starts. There was the defeat where the Kentucky Oaks will take place. That was at Churchill. She did have an excuse that day.
Yeah, you know this filly, the thing I like about her, what I'm seeing, she was immature mentally. She had the body and everything last year as a 2-year-old, but she's matured mentally. She showed that today, and that's what she's going to have to do in the Kentucky Oaks to deal with that crowd, the pressures of getting back there and doing all of that.
Seems like she's just push button for Flavien Prat.
Yeah, I'd like to sit on her back. That's what the good ones do for you. They are push button. He kept her wide, and the acceleration coming off of the turn. That track is deeper out there right now. They ran slow fractions, and she came home running.
Back to New York here at Aqueduct. The Grade 3 Excelsior is next. A mile and an 1/8 purse of $150,000. 4-year-olds and up. Life's Parlay, our current favorite at 6-5 on the outside for Todd Pletcher. As we kick things off, though, in the post parade with Nicodemus for Linda Rice, coming off a victory on a sloppy track here in New York.
I'm a big Nicodemus fan and think he's a big overlay at 7-2 right now. Won on the deeper part of the track last time out, and his one dry track race was very good.
Holiday bonus, we will see next. Huge price here for Gregory DePrima, son of Harlan's Holiday.
His form when he first got claimed went the dirt was good, but his form has disintegrated lately.
Monongahela, this horse is fun to watch. He just keeps on coming every single time. A lot of seconds, though.
He does. He is piling up the seconds. You don't like to see the 5 wins in 10 seconds, but he makes a lot of sense in this race.
Hit it once more. Some of his best moments have come against New York-bred company, although he was second in the Bernardini last start.
He's a speed. They'll try to get to the front with him. This is a tougher field in the Bernardini.
Tour de Force, the speedster went by, taking the shades off, and here is the 7, Shiver Me Timbers.
Shiver Me Timbers is an interesting horse. Getting Jose Ortiz off a trainer change the Steve Asmussen barn. He's not impossible.
And the favorite, Life's a Parlay for Todd Pletcher.
I don't get it at all. I don't think he's good enough. I think he's a question at a mile, and he's got some other speeds to maybe overcome. And this is one Gary and I disagree on.
Obviously a big scratch in this race of the morning line favorite, Discreet Lover, last year's Jockey Club Gold Cup winner at 45-1. So with him out, wide open group. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And he won't be here to defend his title in this Grade 3 Excelsior, as I'll check in with the favorite on the outside. That is number 8, Life's a Parlay, who I'm on Team Andy with this one. I really question, does this horse want to go the mile and an eighth? The thing is that he is going to have to break from the outside, but he does get in a rhythm when he's able to control things on the front end, which could prove to make him dangerous. But he's going to have to deal with Tour de Force, a long shot on his inside, who, by the way, first off, the claim for Rudy Rodriguez looks exceptionally well, so maybe a long shot you want to use. But I have my doubts about Life's a Parlay and how things are going to work out for him. No doubt, though, he does look like he's doing well for Todd heading into this effort. Coming first off that trainer change is number 7, Shiver Me Timbers. He'll stay on the East Coast with the Steve Asmussen and Toby Sheets barn, and he looks fantastic. And, you know, it's kind of a different Shiver Me Timbers this time around here in the paddock. He was a lot more energetic, a much shorter trip from Belmont Park to Aqueduct than California to Aqueduct, and it looks as though he's doing just really, really well, and things might play out well for him in this Excelsior. Moving on to number 1, Nicodemus, a lightly raced 4-year-old that I think he does have some talent, and coming off of his last effort, he's put on muscle mass, he looks stronger, and as Andy pointed out, this is the first time that he's going to go in a long time, a distance of ground on a fast track, so he could be dangerous as his odds continue to tick down here, Greg.
All right, thank you. Again, the Naira Bets late pick 5. It begins here over $120,000 already. Bet into that pool. Still time to get down. And if you're not signed up with Naira Bets already, your chance to do so now. $200 new member bonus. Use that promo code LIVE to bet any track, anywhere, anytime, and bet that Naira Bets late pick 5 that starts right here, guys.
I'm involved.
We saw your ticket.
I played it. I'm definitely involved here.
Again, you're single, World of Trouble.
Yeah. I really went on a limb with that one at around 2 to 5.
I've been watching you. I think you're getting some more action as we're talking right there on that telephone.
I have been. I've been getting involved. I got very excited. I like
Trust me, he
here.
is getting involved, folks. He is. He's actually betting what he says he's betting.
I like
right.
Nicodemus here. I made a little 1-3 box and a saver 1-7 box.
Graded stakes action continues here on Fox Sports Saturday at the races, and there is Life's a Parlay, the favorite for the Grade 3 Excelsior, breaking from post 8. Let's go to Larry Colmus with the call.
They're off in the Excelsior. Hit It Once More is sent out of there in between Monongahela and Tour de Force. It's these three with the most early speed. Life's a Parlay caught wide into the turn as Nicodemus rides the rail. At the back of the field, Shiver Me Timbers and Holiday Bonus. So they make their way around the first turn. Hit It Once More, hustled out of the gate, makes the lead. Tour de Force 3/4 of a length behind, running in second as they head to the backstretch. Life's a Parlay is third on the outside. And then it's Monongahela after a 23.48 quarter, racing about 4 lengths off the lead. Shiver Me Timbers is on the outside of Holiday Bonus and Nicodemus, who's down toward the rail, 6 lengths from front-running Hit It Once More, who heads up the backstretch in front and getting away to lead by almost 2 now. With Tour de Force allowed to settle back in second, Life's a Parlay is third on the outside. Monongahela is fourth. 47.38 was the half mile. Nicodemus is sent along from 5th now. With 5 lengths to make up, moving for the far turn. Holiday Bonus next. Shiver Me Timbers not keeping up. So they make their way around the far turn. And here comes Tour de Force, moving up alongside to take the lead midway on the turn. On the rail, Hit It Once More, tries to hang in there in second. And outside of them, Life's a Parlay is moving 3 wide. In behind the leaders, here comes Nicodemus with Monongahela down toward the inside, kneading a way through as they make their way to the top of the stretch. 3/4 in 1:12.1. They're into the stretch, and here comes Life's a Parlay, who takes the lead on the outside. And now angling to the outside is Monongahela trying to close in. Life's a Parlay a length and a half. Monongahela second, then Tour de Force, Nicodemus on the outside. Life's a Parlay desperate for the wire. Monongahela closing on the outside. These two down to the finish. Life's a Parlay holds off Monongahela. Tour de Force was third and Nicodemus was fourth.
Life's a Parlay is the 3-2 post-time favorite. He has now won 4 of his last 5 starts.
And a great ride from Johnny Velasquez. Drew the outside. I thought he'd be on the lead. Hit it once more. Tour de force, set the pace. Johnny laid back there in the catbird's seat. I think the post position had a lot to do with his waiting trip today because Johnny was able to relax him on the outside, sit and wait. But watch the winner right now, Life's a Parlay. He hit the lead. He thinks the race is over with. You can actually see his head coming up. You don't know if he's getting tired or he's waiting on other horses. He was waiting on other horses because when they got up to his shoulder, he re-engages right here and is actually pulling away again at the end of the race. So he'll get definitely the mile and 1/8 he got today and maybe further.
You know why Monongahela has 5 wins in 10 seconds because he came to Life's a Parlay like he was going to swallow him up. And I think you make great points. Obviously, Life's a Parlay sort of pulling himself up. But Monongahela does not want to win. I was dead wrong about Life's a Parlay, and I'm completely dead. And the Naira Bet's late pick 5.
And you know when you ride those kind of horses that hang like that, it's so frustrating. And it may be a horse that you've never sat on before, but you look at their record and see that they've got more seconds than they do wins. They've got more seconds than they do thirds, but you can kind of predict what's going to happen. And you go out there, you try something different. You say, well, I'm going to do something different. You know what? You get to the same place, but the result's the same.
I'm going to look at those fractions and say, Gary, they did not go a 23.31 fourth quarter and then slow up to 16.13 for the last 8th. I think there might be a bad mile time. What do you think?
Yeah, it's quite possible going from that 112 to 135 because if that would have happened, we would have seen the field stretch around the turn. That didn't happen.
Right.
They were all staying together. So, yeah, something going on with that mile time there.
Life's a Parlay. Todd Pletcher, Rapoli Stable, St. Elias Stable, and Johnny Velasquez team up for the victory in the Excelsior. Much more graded stakes action ahead. The Busher and Busando winner, Espresso Shot and Always Shopping. They go head-to-head as top 3-year-old fillies from the East Coast battle it out in the Gazelle. Still to come.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop arrives in 2019. Mastery standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
Fox Sports Saturday at the Races is brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Great to have you with us on a spectacular Saturday. We just saw the Grade 3 Excelsior. Life's a Parlay. Now on back-to-back starts in 4 of his last 5, son of Uncle Mo. Of course, was campaigned by Rapoli Stable.
And he was impressive today, and the horse is improving. I liked what I saw down the lane. He's still young, he's still green, but he got the job done.
8.35 finish. Familiar finish for Monongahela as you look at 7-time Eclipse Award-winning trainer Todd Pletcher.
He's trying to hide from the winner's circle celebration, I think.
Yeah, what's he doing? Letting everyone else enjoy
there are
it.
People in there. I think he's,
there's no room for him. Room for Johnny Velasquez. And
right.
Life's a Parlay, though, and I love watching these two guys, both Hall of Famers. They got on a roll years ago, And I think they're more like brothers than they are serious business guys. They talk about things. I said that wrong. They are partners in their business. They talk about things, but they have a relationship like brothers, and it's fun to watch.
And one of the great and successful partnerships in the history of this sport, Todd Pletcher and John Velasquez. Life's a Parlay wins at 3-2 to take the Excelsior. And now 4 wins from 6 career starts. Standing by with a 7-time Eclipse Award-winning trainer, Maggie Wolfendale.
That's right. Todd looks to get things rolling here on this Wood Memorial Day card. And Todd, life's a parlay. I mean, he's done little wrong in his career. Today was a big step up, though.
It was, and it was back in 3 weeks after shipping to Oaklawn, back to Florida, up to New York. I was a little worried about that, but he put in a really good breeze, actually, with Vino Rosso, so we decided to come on. I actually think he won maybe a little easier than it looked. He has a tendency to wait when he gets there, and so I thought it was a good effort.
And you mentioned Vino Rosso coming up in the card. Cuts back once again, but that was a monster performance off the bench for him in his last start.
It was a big race, and you know, at a one-turn mile, we felt like he's 3 for 3 at Aqueduct. He broke his maiden here going 7 furlongs. I'm not sure it's his ideal distance, but if the pace scenario sets up right, I think it could fall into place.
All right, wishing you best of luck with the rest of your runners, including outshining the Wood Memorial, but enjoy this win here, Todd.
Thank you.
Greg?
This was just a little appetizer for Pletcher. Of course, he's got 2 fillies coming up in the Gazelle. He's got 2 in the Wood Memorials. We take a look at a replay here of Life's a Parlay.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an unusual year for Todd because if you go back over the last decade, he has dominated the Triple Crown preps. I mean, I don't think even Wayne Lucas dominated his day the way Todd has. This year, he's sort of patching things together, but as you can see, things are starting off well today.
And, of course, Vino Rosso as well in the Grade 1 Carter.
Yeah, I loved his last race coming into the Carter today, and I loved what I just heard Todd Pletcher say, that what made him decide to run Life's a Parlay today was his work with Vino Rosso. So just think about that before.
There are no worlds of trouble in the Excelsior, though.
That's true.
He could be in a world of trouble in the Carter.
We continue on the road to the Kentucky Oaks for 3-year-old fillies. That first Friday in May with the Grade 2 Gazelle, 170 points to qualify to get into that starting gate. 100 points to the winner on the line here, Espresso Shot. The winner of the Busher here at Aqueduct right now is the favorite on the board.
Yeah, and you know, she's New York bred. Most of her races were in restricted company. The first time she stepped out of restricted company, New York bred, she got results weren't too good. But she proved in her last race in the Busher that she doesn't need restricted. She's the real deal.
And her trainer, Jorge Abreu, I don't know if people are that familiar with her, an ex-assistant trainer to Chad Brown, actually had a very nice-looking firster win the second race today. He's got a player in the 3-year-old division running in the Beaumont tomorrow at Keeneland. And like to see him do well with this New York Braves. A good up-and-coming trainer.
Grade 2 Gazelle, again, 170 qualifying points for the Kentucky Oaks on the line next. We will preview as well the Wood Memorial. Tacitus has emerged from the shadow of stablemate Hidden Scroll with his Tampa Bay Derby win. Tax will be waiting for him in his first start since his Withers win in early February. A preview of the Wood is still to come.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. AmericasBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
For a commercial farm like us in Frankfurt Park, you have to get value for money. Uvetzi won a Grade 3 in California.
Big performance by Uvetzi.
And then we bred Take Charge Paula.
Take Charge Paula with the win.
When we can get some of these WinStar dollars, as far as we're concerned, it's the same as real money because we're just putting it back in again there for the coming year. Over the next couple of years, I think it's going to become even more important.
open wide, catch the dream, the fire inside, standing tall until the end. I'll survive, I'm not falling down.
Justified, a 2-length lead as they come to the front of the team. The 37-year wait is over. American Pharoah is finally the man. Secretary is lightning now. He is moving like a tremendous machine. A American Alligator hits the bird. A bird's got it out. They run it. They come on the line. Perfect. And now he's done. And Pharoah. I'm not
We are just 4 weeks away from the first Saturday in May, and still so much to be determined as we take a look at the runners that will be in action today. Bob Baffert with a couple out on the West Coast, and game winner in Roadster. Roadster likely going to need a second-place finish just to get into the Derby.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get the win today, to be honest with
Really?
you. Yeah, I've been watching him train, and he's been training every bit as good as game winner. Mike Smith had a conversation with him 2 days ago. He likes what he's sitting on, so it wouldn't be a surprise for me to see him get all the money today.
We'll have more on him coming up in a moment. Here's the remaining Kentucky Derby preps today. A busy day. The Bluegrass from Keeneland, Santa Anita Derby, and the Wood Memorial right here at Aqueduct. 100 points on the line to the winner in each of those races. And then the Last Chance Saloon, April 13th, the Lexington and the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. We are going to have on-site coverage extended all weekend long from Oaklawn.
Including me.
Next week, you're going to be in Hot
I will
Springs,
be in
Arkansas?
Arkansas.
We're
Yeah.
sending you on the road?
We are.
Uh-oh.
Have you been there?
I have never been there.
You're going to love it.
I can't wait to go.
This show could go one of
Can't
two
wait to
ways.
go. Yes.
That'll be fun. Looking forward to that.
7 of 8 ways.
Get signed up, get started, play along with Naira Bets. We're looking forward to that next weekend at Oaklawn with so much to talk about. Wood Memorial, of course, coming up later today here at Aqueduct. And High Call, Rajiv Mirage, 7-2 on the board. Tax, meanwhile, will have the rail. And the first time we're going to see Tax back in action since his performance in the Grade 3 Withers. A victory for him as the favorite. Here's Danny Gargan on his Son of Arch.
Not for Brady's fast. Looks like the horse that Cassie's bringing ran one time. He looks like he has speed. Todd's running a horse that's been sprinting. So I expect those three to be in front of us, and then we'll hopefully be sitting fourth on the inside. You know, he stumbled last time leaving the gate and still could have had the lead if we wanted it. So we're going to break, you know, make them run into the first turn, and whoever goes, they're going to have to run to go. He looks good, and we're just hoping to get a nice, clean trip, and hopefully we can run 1, 2, 3 so we can go to the Derby.
Well, he's undefeated from the rail, and he gets the rail again today.
Well, the rail might not be as good today as it was some other days in the rail, but
Yeah.
he's definitely a player.
I had dinner last night with Dean Reeves, Patty Reeves, who are part owners, Reeves Thoroughbred of Tax, and of course they were the owners of Mucho Macho Man, who I won the Breeders' Cup Classic on. They are so excited about today's
Good people.
and a good chance to get into the Kentucky Derby, and it's just fun to see the excitement on these owners when we're getting this close. They're getting the Derby fever high-pitched right now.
Now, one of the many views on your Wood Memorial preview, Andy, was me. I got a good look at that. You mentioned, of course, Tacitus, and he's the first foal out of the champion closed hatches, and that Tampa Bay Derby really his coming out party.
Yeah, no, he got an absolutely sensational ride by Jose Ortiz in this race. I mean, Jose left for position, then he eased him over towards the inside, saving ground on the two paths, split horses, and just got a great ride. It was a real step forward for him. He'd run very well in his debut. Not great when he broke his maiden, but this was a big step forward. And he's a work in progress, like all these 3-year-olds. But he did the right thing there. But I'll tell you something, did he really even run better than Todd Pletcher's Outshine in that race, who was closer to a fast pace and wider than Tacitus, and Tacitus is going to be a much shorter price. So I think they're both big-time players in the air, but Outshine just might be better value from a betting perspective.
How wide open do you think this race is today?
I think it is very wide open. I mean, Tax can win, Tacitus can win. Who knows what Office Union is? I would never bet him, but who knows? I mean, Heichel, I'm not a big fan, but he can win. Final Jeopardy, Over-Deliver, Outshine, all these are big-time players in the Wood.
I like Heichel today. If he gets the same kind of pace scenario that they got that last time, I like that late run that he was making, and if he continues on the way he did in that race, I'm going to love him with the 1.25 mile distance.
Meanwhile, out west in the Santa Anita Derby, the Breeders' Cup juvenile winner for Bob Baffert, game winner back in action, along with the horse who was the more highly regarded runner from the Baffert barn back when he was a 2-year-old in Roadster.
Yeah, and Roadster, he's been kind of the silent horse. I've said that Bob Baffert, he's had a pep in his step out in California, and I think it's because of Roadster. Game winner's doing well, but Nolo Contesto, another one that I like in here, is a great ride by Mike Smith in the previous race. And Nolo Contesto, he was kind of hampered down inside, taken out of his rhythm, and he was caught flat-footed coming off of the turn when Mike Smith pushed the button on Roadster and went on. The gallop out after that race, I know a lot of people don't care too much about the gallop out, but it was huge. And I asked Mike 2 days ago, I said, were you pulling Roadster up when Nolo Contesto came to you? And he said, no, I wasn't. And there's respect from Mike Smith on Nolo Contesto as well. So this is a fun Derby prep, the funnest so far that I've watched.
And Nolo Contesto was favored over Roadster last time out.
Going to be a fascinating rendition of the Santa Anita Derby. With more, let's head out to the West Coast and check in with Paul Duca.
Yeah, Greg, I guess the forgotten horse has sort of been Instagram, which, talking to Jerry Hollendorfer, we're trying to go to the front end, is what he told me, and try to take no prisoners and take that as his running style. And when it comes to game winner, Baffert told me, listen, we'll probably get the same trip we got last time, probably stalking 3-4 wide. What does Mike Smith do with Roadster on the rail? Everybody is right that you've heard here so far on Fox Saturday at the races. He was the more fancied one earlier in his career than Game Winner, but Game Winner decided to become the 2-year-old champion. Can Roadster really beat him today, or is he going to beat him in the first Saturday in May? So I think Game Winner's still the horse to beat. And Nolo Contesto, I am so with Gary, an outside horse that John Sadler's very high on.
Now take a look at the upsets that we have had along the road to the Kentucky Derby. There have been quite a few, including, of course, the Louisiana Derby, and by my standards, returning $47. But back to Game Winner, even in defeat, I think he showed something, coming off the bench and running that kind of performance.
Yeah, hey, Bob Baffert, he could not have had Game Winner cranked all the way up, knowing that the Kentucky Derby is coming up and that he was going to have 2 prep races for the Kentucky Derby. I expect him to step forward huge today, yet saving a little bit of something for the Kentucky Derby, which is 4 weeks from today.
We also have a Derby prep out in Keeneland in Lexington this afternoon with a Grade 2 Bluegrass and a horse that we got familiar with here in New York. The morning line favorite there, Vacoma for George Weaver.
It's kind of a 1-horse race or a 14-horse race, because if Vacoma runs his good race, if he can handle the 1.8 mile distance, and distance is a real question, not talent, Vacoma's going to win this race. He's drawn well towards the inside, and he's better than these horses.
What about the 8-horse, Win, who was favored going into the Tampa Bay Derby, and he, excuse me, got wiped out at the start.
He was
wide.
Time, Gary.
He came running. Well, in a 14-horse field today, and we said it's wide open race, he could stagger home.
Meanwhile, real quick, back to Vacoma here. This is a look at the Fountain of Youth after back-to-back wins.
No, this is the
Nashua. This was his graded stakes debut and victory when he beat Network Effect, and a horse that we just saw run, Call Paul.
No, he's a very good horse, Vacoma. I just think he's the fastest horse. Second off a layoff, close to the pace of the Fountain of Youth. I just think he's the best horse, but I think 9 furlongs is the question. As far as win, he's definitely the second likeliest winner in this race. I don't like that he gets left every time, Gary. This horse just cannot get out of the gate.
Well, the thing about it, if he ever starts breaking, watch out, because he's still getting the job done, and he ran on nicely. He should have been beaten 7-8 lengths with what he did to himself at the start of the Tampa Bay Derby. So these horses still educating themselves, and I'd like to give the horse another chance.
No, I'm not saying he can't win. I just hate horses at short price that keep getting left.
We've talked about how open this Kentucky Derby trail is right now. I told you earlier, if I was still active right now, if there were 18 horses that they came to me and I was open and they said, do you want to ride this horse or that horse? I wouldn't deny any one of about 18 horses right now.
Let me throw one horse in. My long shot is Lucky Lee in the Bluegrass. I think he's a weird long shot.
I want to remind everyone, we have a cross-country Pick 5 again today. It starts at Keeneland with a Madison in race 8. It includes racing from Aqueduct, that 9th race, which we'll have coming up in just a little bit, right after the Gazelle. It's the Grade 1 Carter. It also includes the Ashland, Toyota Bluegrass, and the Wood Memorial as well. So find that at Naira Betts Cross Country Pick 5. Let's check in right now with Maggie Wolfendale.
And horses are ready here in the paddock for today's Gazelle. I want to check in with our Busher winner last time. That is the New York bred Espresso Shot. Now, last time in the paddock, she got a little bit more revved up than what she is here today, but I think it was just a matter of there being more horses and more people in the paddock. She kind of feeds off that energy, but I'll be looking for her to settle in nicely to her warm-up once again, and I think this filly is thriving right now for a very talented and young up-and-coming trainer in Jorge Abreu. Moving on to number 4, Positive Spirit. She threw in a clunker first off the bench in the Rachel Alexandra last time out. But what I've seen is some horses that prefer our New York tracks, they don't like it down at Fairgrounds. We saw it with Oxy Lady, who finished second to Espresso Shot, and we even saw it with Pluquet Parfait in the UAE Derby, putting in a clunker in the Risen Star. So I want to forgive her, and too, she may have needed the race. Boy, does she look fit here, though, guys. As we'll also take a look at the California Invader. That is number 6, Proud Emma. While I don't love her based upon physicality from the overall sense, I do think she'll like a 1 1/8 here in this Gazelle, Greg.
Well, she is 3-1 on the board. Everyone with the exception of the rail taking support here. Our post parade for the Grade 2 Gazelle, brought to you by OCD Pellets, celebrating over 10 years of supporting the equine industry with their 2-in-1 bone and joint supplement. For more information, visit OCDpellets.com. Here is a Fleet Destiny for Uriah St. Louis. Big long shot at 22-1.
Yeah, a long shot for a reason. Was a distant second, and the Demoiselle at this distance at Aqueduct, but really needs to get faster.
Espresso Shot. She is the favorite for Jorge Abreu. The big question, can she handle 2 turns?
Love to see the hometown New York bred go to Kentucky with a chance in the Oaks. She's got to answer that 2-turn question, though, Greg.
Off topic, part of a pair of runners in here for Todd Pletcher. This one a daughter of Street Sense.
She's a little on the slow side, but I thought her last race was the best yet. And a very talented horse in Motion, and did have a wide trip.
Positive Spirit. Half to Kentucky Derby winner, Always Dreaming, sent out by Rodolphe Brissett.
Surprised she's not favored. I think she's the worst to beat. Jose Ortiz should go the lead. She runs her Demoiselle, she wins. The Rachel Alexandra, no.
Well, Todd Pletcher thought that Always Shopping would be at her best at 2 turns and going longer, and that's why I put her in the Busanda as a maiden. She responded with a win.
I'll get her in the winner's circle. Don't like her at all. She rode a gold rail and had a perfect trip last time out. She may be lightly racing and improving, but she needs to take another step forward.
And here's the Southern California shipper for Peter Miller, Proud Emma.
I thought she'd be a much bigger price. I took a flyer with her. It seems like Peter Miller comes to New York with a purpose, but she too has to answer the question going longer.
We're going to take a break. Late pick 4 begins in here. Anyone like a triple shot of Espresso? The Busanda winner? Looking to make it 3 in a row. Can Espresso Shot get it done in the Gazelle on the road to the Kentucky Oaks? We'll be back.
This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer by Tapit has become one of the nation's leading sires of 2-year-olds. Ranked number 1 in his crop by number of winners, he sired 11 stakes horses in 2017, including graded stakes winners Wild Shot and Oklahoma Derby winner Untrapped. At the sales, his yearlings have sold up to $480,000. Trap Shot, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Individuals like her, they're hard to find. When you find them, you have to do your best to try and get them. Really quality filly, beautifully made and moved really well, and we're very happy to get her. She was one of our key horses today to try and get. We thought she'd come in south of 200, but like everything else, when you're chasing the ones you really wanted, it's always costing a little bit more. So we have to stretch for her, but we're happy to have her.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on Fox Sports Saturday at the races. Grade 2 Gazelle on the road to the Kentucky Oaks as we look at Positive Spirit, trying to get back on track.
Yeah, and they took her to the fairgrounds for the Rachel Alexandra, and had it not been for herself, getting herself left in that race and getting beat 25 lengths, she lost all chance, Andy, at the start of that race. And had she gotten away better, she would be a heavy favorite here right now.
Well, if she runs her Demoiselle back in early December here, a 1.8 miles at Aqueduct, she'll win this race for fun. And it's interesting, Oxy Lady also ran poorly in that Rachel Alexandra. She finished second to Espresso Shot last time and should have won the race. So maybe whereas they ran poorly in the Rachel Alexandra, you want to bet them back.
Positive spirit. She looked like a star in the making as a 2-year-old with that win in the Grade 2 Demoiselle. And she flopped in that 3-year-old debut with that poor start. Can she rebound and punch her ticket to the Oaks? We'll find out next.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
Warfront has sired 8 champions and 10 millionaires. Recent Grade 1 winners include Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy flag, plus 2019 Kentucky Derby hopeful War of Will. He's also sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, and international super sire on all surfaces and all fronts. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Fox Sports Saturday at the Races. As always, we're brought to you by Claiborne Farm, and we are moments away from the Gazelle, and I'm pleased to be joined by a very special guest, Mrs. Barbara Jo Rubin, who was the first female jockey to ever win a race under conditions. It came at Charlestown, but also the first female jockey to win here in New York. It's your 50th anniversary. You're truly a pioneer.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful being here.
And Barbara, you know, considering in other sports areas, it's still men. Men and women are still separate. And you did this 50 years ago, riding against males. Talk about the impact that you believe you had on the industry.
Yes, I'm just surprised that there's not more women riding now. I thought there'd be loads of women jockeys because, you know, it was just breaking in because it's something I wanted to do all my life. And I'm like, well, why can't I ride? I couldn't understand that.
And I remember reading that there were some hecklers there at Charlestown that night, but the cheers of the fans just overwhelmed you.
Yes, it was wonderful. Everybody was great. You know, even if anybody yelled anything bad, I just sort of smile at them. I'm like, didn't bother me.
Well, you were truly a pioneer and paved the way for several female riders. I mean, going back, Rosina Pravnik, Julie Crone. Talk about your experience and kind of celebrating this 50th anniversary.
Oh, it's just great to be back here at Aqueduct. You know, when I came here to ride, everybody said, are you intimidated by the guys? I go, I've never been intimidated by the guys. You know, it's just something I want to do, and I feel I'm capable, and I should be able to do it.
Well, congratulations, and we're pleased to have you here, Barbara.
Thank you so much. It's been great coming.
All right, guys. Well, it was Cohesion 50 years ago that she won on at Charlestown that night.
And did so as a 19-year-old rider. Pretty impressive. Led to an appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. And to tell the truth, as we get set to load up here for the Grade 2 Gazelle.
You know, a horse like the number 5 always shopping, I'll never bet a horse that got such a great trip sitting on a gold rail and sort of having that perfect trip. But I think the argument for her is that she's improving with distance and time.
Yeah, and her sire, Awesome again. Multiple horses that the further they go, the better they get. And Stop Shopping Maria, her mama, she was a very good race mare.
Positive Spirit, Demoiselle winner, is a 2-year-old here in New York. Struggled at the fairgrounds in her 3-year-old return. Can she bounce back? She'll break from post 4. Here's the Gazelle, Larry Colmus with the call.
They're off in the Gazelle. Off Topic comes out quickly. Positive Spirit goes right with her and takes over, racing for that turn. Positive Spirit to the front. Off Topic on the inside will ride the rail in second, and outside of them comes Always Shopping in third. Proud Emma's 4, 3 wide on that turn. That Espresso Shot. The trailer is a Fleet Destiny, who's 6 lengths off of front-running Positive Spirit. Jose Ortiz and Positive Spirit head up the backstretch after a 24.92 quarter. They lead a half a length. On the outside, Always Shopping pressing the issue in second. Then it's Proud Emma, Off Topic on the inside. Espresso Shot is in 5th. She's just 4 lengths behind. The pace is not fast. And a Fleet Destiny is 5 lengths off of Positive Spirit, who continues to lead the field up the backstretch. Always Shopping is a half length behind on the outside. Off Topic is 3rd at the rail. Proud Emma 4th on the outside of her. The half was 50.09 seconds. They're crawling along as they head for the far turn. Espresso Shot finds herself in 5th with a half mile to run. She's 4 lengths off the lead with not much pace in front of her, and a Fleet Destiny trails the field. Positive Spirit and Always Shopping. Noses apart on the lead with 3 furlongs to go. Proud Emma sent along. Espresso Shot's going to have to come 4 wide. And now Off Topic is under a full-out drive back there in 5th as they make their way to the top of the stretch. Positive Spirit set down for the stretch drive. Always Shopping now moves up alongside of her. They are nose to nose, and Always Shopping has taken the lead. Always Shopping to the front. Positive Spirit on the inside, second. Proud Emma's 3rd, then Off Topic and Espresso Shot on the outside. Always Shopping, Manny Franco shaking her up for another 16th. She's holding on to the lead, and Always Shopping wins the Gazelle. Positive Spirit was 2nd, Off Topic was 3rd, and Proud Emma was 4th.
Well, we'll have to take a look at the head-on here. A couple of fillies came together, Always Shopping among them, but she crosses the wire first impressively here in the Grade 2 Gazelle.
Yeah, Manny Franco, he got to set a great trip there just outside of Positive Spirit and Jose Ortiz, and they were absolutely crawling early on, Andy, and tough to close into those types of fractions.
Yeah, I mean, essentially there was a merry-go-round race, and, you know, Always Shopping had much more speed and the slower pace, and Manny put her in the right spot. I know they came together, but I don't know if the 5 bumped the 4 horse, but boy, it just feels like she was going to win anyway.
We're about to see here, and I've got a feeling that it was a combination of both of them. The Positive Spirit on the inside there, and actually, yeah, that was a light brush. They're not going to do anything here, and I don't even know if there would be an objection. But even if there is, that was very light incidental contact, and the 4 Positive Spirit did hold on for 2nd. Always Shopping, she went on and won with authority.
And I think Bellafina just watched this race and said, yeah, whatever.
Not in my class, at least not yet, but still could move forward off this performance. Always Shopping, this victory should stand after taking a look at that head-on. Always Shopping, Positive Spirit, 1-2 in the Gazelle. We'll be back.
What's going on? Tough beat yesterday.
Run Happy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Run Happy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Fox Sports Saturday at the races. As you can see behind me, track is now listed as sloppy as the rain continues. A very hard favorite with even money being on the Asmussen contender, Emma. She's looking to extend her winning streak to 3 as she does step up to face second level allowance runner. She has been a standout in her previous 2, scoring gate to wire. Let's send it up to Vic Stauffer.
They're off. Perfect start. Emma and Mostly Awesome. First alternate from the inside. These 3 are quickest. Then comes Moonlight Train and Summer's Indy, and the early trailer is Dancing Bell. It'll be Emma at the clubhouse turn. She's a half length in front of Mostly Awesome in second. First alternate will sit third at the rail and 2 from the front. Then comes Summer's Indy outside of Moonlight Train. They've both got 3.5 to make up, and Dancing Bell is 6th and last with 6 lengths to make up as Richard Ramia doles out the speed of Emma up the backside and a half length in front of Mostly Awesome in second. First alternate tracks at the rail third and a length and a half from the front. Then it's 2.5 back to Summer's Indy and Moonlight Train, and Dancing Bell is being asked for speed leaving the half-mile pole. Dancing Bell is within 4.5 of the lead as Emma goes into the far turn. It is Emma now a full length and a half, maybe 2, maybe 2.5 in front of Mostly Awesome. Then comes first alternate, followed by Summer's Indy. Moonlight Train has been passed by Dancing Bell, and they'll all have to go to catch Emma, who is in charge at the top of the stretch. First alternate comes after her in second. Dancing Bell is advanced all the way up into third. She's at the rail in 3.5 from Emma with a final 3/16 to run. Emma is there. She's 2.5 in front of first alternate. Then Dancing Bell, Summer's Indy, and Emma comes to the final furlong, and now she pours it on. Look at Emma streak away. She's now 5 or 6 in front. Dancing Bell going to get into second, but Emma has just run them right off their feet. Emma. Emma won by 3 1/4. Dancing Bell second. First alternate third. Summer's Indy finished 4th.
Vic Stauffer with the call, and that is 3 wins in a row for Emma, trained by Steve Asmussen, daughter of Warfront. Meanwhile, back in New York, Always Shopping, Mike Rapoli in Rapoli's Stable. He names all his horses, or a lot of them anyway, after his wife, Maria, who loves to shop, and this one another one in that pantheon of names.
And a nice payoff, $9.90 there for Always Shopping, out of Stop Shopping, Maria.
There have been a lot with that name. I can't even remember them all.
Stop Charging Maria. So $9.90 for the win, back-to-back wins. Remember, this horse won the Busanda as a maiden.
Yes.
All right, so progressing.
She won. I know you're egging me on here, Greg. I know you're trying hard. She got the job done.
Got that.
Here in the winner's circle with Mike Rapoli, gets a second win of the day here with Always Shopping, and a bit of a sentimental horse, is named after your wife, of course.
Yeah, and we named her Always Shopping, and I got my daughter here tonight too, and my whole family. So just a really, really nice horse. A horse we bred, awesome again. Stop Shopping Maria, and she just gets better and better. She likes distance.
I was just going to say, distance is her friend. So it's on to the first Friday in May, the Kentucky Oaks with her?
You know, we got over-delivered today, so I'm going to see what we do there. But, you know, the one thing about this filly is she really runs well, spaced out. If you look at her races, she's not the biggest filly in the world, and she seems to fire like every 6 to 8 weeks. So we'll make a decision. I mean, it's a hard race to pass up, but she looked really, really good, and Manny said she was a winner the whole way.
She did look great today, and looking very good last time. And his first start off the bench was Vino Rosso, who you're going to send out in the Carter next. I mean, are we going to make it 3 for 3 on the day here, Mike?
You know, a couple of years ago at Aqueduct, we won the Remsen, the Demoiselle, and the Cigar Mile, and that was pretty good. But this feels pretty good. I mean, Vino's training well, and we got over-delivered in the wood, and, you know, I left today, I said, I'll take 1 win. Once I get the 1, I want 2. Now I got 2. Now we want 3. So let's see what happens.
Well, Mike, I'd love to see your colors downstairs in the Wood Memorial Plaques. Again, looks as though you might be primed and ready to pick up your 4th win on the day as well.
Yeah, that would be exciting. I mean, over-delivers a homebred out of Overanalyze, who won the Remsen at this track, and he's training well. He's got a 1st and a 2nd, and the horse he beat in the maiden was 2nd in the Florida Derby, so he's very live too.
All right, Mike, well, congrats and best of luck.
Thanks, Maggie.
Greg?
Maggie, thanks. We need to say goodbye to our Fox viewers. You can watch the conclusion of our show on the Fox Sports Go app or on the Naira Now app, and you can see Vino Rosso, last year's Wood Memorial winner for the Rapoli stable, in action. And of course, once these races conclude, you can go to NBC Sports Network and watch the Triple Crown prep races. Thanks for watching on Fox MSG Plus. We're coming right back.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop of 2-year-olds hitting the track, the sky's the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Fox Sports Saturday at the races. Good to have you with us. Greg Wolf, Gary Stevens, Andy Serling, Maggie Wolfendale, Nancy Holthus, Michelle Yu, and Paula Duca. And we have the Grade 2 Royal Heroine coming up next. And just an absolute win machine in action coming up in Basilica next for Jerry Hollendorfer, who has won 10 of 11 starts.
A horse
Former
that
claimer.
used to run in claiming races in New York. I remember her running quite well here. It's been terrific. I'm worried about the 2 Ms. Bad Behavior wiring the field, though.
One of the great claims in California racing history, and here she is. She is 9 for 10 on the turf at Santa Anita.
Wow, and 2 to 5 on the board. I mean, what can you say? She's just, what a sensational record.
Looks like she is raring to go again here. 2 to 5 on the board right now. Miss Bad Behavior. Mike Smith will ride for Richard Baltus.
She really looks like lone speed after having to chase a fast pace last time out. Upset chance.
7 to 2 on the board. Long shot meal ticket for Matthew Chu at 16 to 1.
I like the synthetic to turf second off a layup. An interesting long shot.
Even bigger price on the horse next door, Cordiality, a 6-year-old mare who's a 9-time winner.
Off the claim for Tim Yachteen, she'll have to improve, but she has run fast races in the past.
Multiple group winner in Germany and Great Britain. Here is Raven's Lady. This will be the U.S. debut.
Yeah, for a trainer who does a good job, but is just 1 for 21 with foreign shippers on the turf.
Space Talk is the 6th, 4 seconds in 7 career starts.
Stretches out after a reasonable U.S. debut, but would have to improve.
And on the outside, long shot, Smoothie for Doug O'Neill, coming off the maiden victory in career start number 8.
An underlay at 38 to 1.
Very likely true there, now 40 to 1 as we check in with Paul LaDuca.
Thanks, Greg. And obviously, everybody's wondering, can you beat Vasilenka on the inside here? And she is just an absolute win machine, looking for $1 million in earning, 15 out of 30. And when you look at the I guess the wild card horse in here, it'd be Raven's Lady, the daughter of Ravens Pass. A lot of people forget Ravens Pass won the Breeders' Cup Classic here at Santa Anita in 2008. She was acting up a tiny bit in the paddock, and I look for her to maybe break slow from the gate and maybe get settled in and be behind the 8 ball. If there was ever going to be a winner in here, it's Miss Bad Behavior. There is no pace in this race, but she's been a bridesmaid 7 times out of 15 starts. She's going to need a clear lead, and she's probably going to need Vasilenka to get in a little trouble, guys.
Can she keep on going? Anyone who can read a racing form sees she is the one to catch here, talking about the 2, Miss Bad Behavior, and that is where Andy Serling has put his check mark.
Yeah, the thing about Miss Bad Behavior, she's been on the Long Lonesome 2 races back against Vasilika, and she couldn't beat her then. But that was, that was in January. Things can change, but Vasilika's beat her two straight races now, so not for me today.
You know, one thing I'd say on this Bad Behavior, she was forced to chase what was a very rapid pace last time, and today she's going to be able to set the pace up front. Now, I think Vasilika is tractable enough that she'll just put herself a little bit closer, but still, I think Ms. Bad Behavior has her best chance to upset the favorite today.
Yeah, and the 3 filly, Meal Ticket, when she runs her race, again, one that has raced against Vasilika and couldn't beat her, but on her day, I'd won on her in the past. She's a quality filly, and if anybody saw her in the post-parade when you guys were doing the post-parade, she was getting hot. She was bouncing up and down. Don't worry about that. That's her. She is just a high-strung filly, and Drayden Van Dyke on her for the first time today, and he should fit her well.
Well, I played some tries in here, as you just saw. I was just betting. And I'm going to try up the 1-2-3 box, but, a 1-2 with 1-2 with 3, and try to get the 3 in there somewhere as a long shot. And maybe a slight chance that the favorite gets upset by the 2.
We want to welcome back our viewers on Fox Sports 2. So getting a little bonus coverage here. Great to have you with us.
Missed us.
As we bring you the Grade 2 Royal Heroine. And again, if you've just tuned in or you've been away for a moment there on Fox Sports 2, we get to see Vasilika here, who has won 10 of her last 11 starts. She was a former claimer, and now she is a Grade 1 winner.
If she wins today, she goes over $1 million in
Very
earnings.
Cool.
Think about that.
It's amazing. She and Farhan Muir, who's running out in California, both former claimers from New York. And Royal Heroine, the horse is named from, did she win a Breeders' Cup race in the initial Breeders' Cup at Hollywood Park?
Yes, she did. Eddie Delahousie, I believe, Eddie Delahousie for John Gosden.
Well, Jerry Hollendorfer, trainer of Vasilika, is going to have the inside post, said, I don't know if there's anything that she can't do. If there is, we have not found it yet. Even the times that she has not won, she tries so hard. She always brings her A effort. So it is her race to lose. Odds-on favorite here for the Grade 2 Royal Heroine, trying to win a 3rd in a row. She has become an absolute win machine. Vasilika. Flavian Pratt will be aboard for the Hall of Famer. Jerry Hollendorfer. Frank Miramati with the call from Santa Anita with a Grade 2 Royal Heroine.
And they're off, and Miss Bad Behavior flies out of the gate and takes control at once. Smoothie is hustled up, though, and Smoothie wants to lead and will get it. Mike Smith lets her go, and Miss Bad Behavior will settle in 2nd. Cordiality 3rd, and Vasilika at the rail. Miss Bad Behavior is drifting out. Very tough to handle. Miss Bad Behavior just running herself right out of the race. And so Smoothie is the leader, opening up a 1.5 lengths. Cordiality in 2nd. Vasilika will be tucked in 3rd. Meal Ticket for 2.5 lengths off the leader. Then Raven's Lady, Space Talk, and Miss Bad Behavior not persevered with. They straighten away for the run down the backstretch, and it is Smoothie, joined now by Cordiality. They're on even terms. Vasilika much closer than usual today in between those two, just about a length off the lead past a half mile. Then comes Meal Ticket in fourth, 2.5 lengths off the leader, Raven's Lady and Space Talk. Smoothie is the leader into the far turn, pressed by Cordiality, and Cordiality now takes the lead. Vasilika has 2.5 lengths to make up. Meal Ticket is just outside of her, 3 lengths off the pace. Then comes Raven's Lady with 1/4 mile to go. They're at the top of the stretch now, and the leader is Cordiality. Vasilika takes aim on her from the back of the pack. Space Talk is finding her best stride. Raven's Lady in between horses, far outside. Meal Ticket. Vasilika opens up. She is absolutely incredible. Vasilika strolls home in the Royal Heroine. Meal Ticket second, Space Talk third in front of Raven's Lady.
11 wins her last 10 starts, 13 of her last 15. 4 times before you could have claimed her for 40,000 or less.
Yeah, look, we said that the only thing that could get her beat was a bad trip, and it was a funny run race. Miss Bad Behavior came running away from there, and then the big long shot on the outside, Smoothie, went to the lead. Mike Smith pulled out of the race for some reason, didn't like what he felt, and Vasilika, she didn't have the best of trips, but she overcame everything and won going away.
They're such a nice horse. I mean, these are the kind of horses, they're the backbone of the game, right? They show up and they run well every time.
She has turned into a superstar performer, 16th win of her career. Vasilika gets the job done, the Royal Heroine. We're going to take a break. Coming up next, sideline from the sport he loves, jockey Rajiv Mirage tells the incredible story of his fight to return and a win that he will never forget.
One of the things I like about Run Happy is he's one of the more athletic sires that I've seen. He's clearly passing that on to his offspring. He's really staying from the foals, and they're starting to look a lot like him.
Well, this horse comes from a great sire who was just so talented. We've wanted to buy one ever since we started looking in November.
16.5, bargain amount 250,000.
And then you add a sire like Run Happy, and then you put a physical on the ground like that baby, and you know, for us, it's a must-have.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Has got a big lead though. At the 16th pole, he's 4 in front. As they come to the line, Roy H. does it again.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
Not only was I speechless, I was just like a bit in shock. It was just so many different feelings that I've never experienced before.
They're off in the Wood Memorial.
With a short run to the turn, I was hoping to break well and kind of establish a good position, and it worked out well. Our plan wasn't really to go to the lead, but not be too far off the pace. He actually tried to pull me a little bit here, and I didn't really want to move too early, so I just tried to get him relaxed. I looked over my shoulder coming towards the quarter pole, and Cloud Computing was on their ride, and I felt like I had Battalion runner right where I wanted, pretty measured. So at this point, I was just hoping he would just sustain his run.
Irish War Cries in front because they come to the final 16th. Battalion runners not going with them. Then comes Cloud Computing down to the line. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial under Rajiv Mirage.
That specific race, when I passed the wire, is most I've ever been overcome with emotion. That's the only time I've cried after I passed the wire, because that's the biggest race right after I came back from my injury of being off over 16 months. And I think I'll always remember that race, and I'm always going to be grateful for that.
That was a tremendous moment to see Rajiv Mirage come back. He was out for 16 months. He couldn't even, he was having difficulty breathing with all the injuries he had from his spill. To come back and have a win like that, and get to the Kentucky Derby with that horse.
Yeah.
What a comeback.
And he busted his rear end like we all do, coming back from injuries. He showed his toughness, and being out 16 months with an injury, fighting through that, hats off to Rajiv.
Grade 1 Carter is coming up next. It's 7/8 of a mile, and a horse who was the runner-up in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Had an incredible stretch duel with Stormy Liberal. Back in action here, World of Trouble, as we kick off our post-parade with Sir Ballantine at 31-1 for Danny Gargan.
Got a nice pace to close into last time, but the going's a little tougher today.
Vino Rosso, last year's Wood Memorial winner, had a brilliant 4-year-old debut.
Clearly, a lot of people have different PPs than me. He's a talented runner, and he might be good around one turn, but this is a tough spot.
Life in Shambles went by, 10-time winner, the 8-year-old, as we look at the 4 identity politics for Chad Brown.
He's going to come running towards the end. He's got talent. He was second in the Malibu, but this is a tough spot.
Skylar's Scramjet is quick as they come for Michelle Nevin.
He's the one who could be near the front with the favorite World of Trouble. He did get involved in the heated duel last time.
Runner-up has won 3 in a row, and he loves it at Aqueduct.
This horse has really improved for Michelle Nevin and ran a super to win after breaking badly last time.
And talk about quick. Here is World of Trouble. He's won 4 of 5. His only defeat, again, in that Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint when he missed by a neck.
At the risk of being corny, this field could be in a world of trouble. I think he might be the best dirt sprinter in the country.
Real quick, back at the Grade 2 Royal Heroine, Vasilika picks up the 16th win of her career, and you saw Miss Bad Behavior bolt there with Mike Smith. We heard she is just fine.
Vasilka, Mill Ticket running a huge race at 24-1 there, and returning $840 for the place. And 1, 2, 3 trifecta returns $152. Not too bad. And Vasilka now a millionaire.
With more on Miss Bad Behavior, let's go to Michelle Yu.
Thanks, Greg. As you saw, she was pulled up after a seemingly bolting into that first turn. I caught up with Mike Smith afterwards, who said he just didn't feel like she was traveling as well as he'd like to, and that's why he decided to pull her up. She did stand on the backside while the race was run, and then they walked her back, and they actually ended up walking her back to her barn with the rest of the field. So she was never loaded into the horse ambulance or anything like that, and the state vet said he would look over her, but she looked fine walking by him as I stood with him when she walked off of the track under her own power.
That's great news to hear. So it appears Miss Bad Behavior is just fine. We'll head back to the barn, and hopefully we will see run in the very near future as we get you back here to New York for the Grade 1 Carter. Of course, the Wood Memorial still to come. That'll be on the NBC show. But this race right here, extremely intriguing. 4 to 5, though, on World of Trouble. Is going to have some company up front.
Going to have some company. Go ahead, Andy.
Well, I don't know.
You don't think so?
I mean, Skylar's Scramjet may go, but I don't think there's that much speed. And he draws that perfect outside post. He can do whatever he wants here, right?
You know what? I'm going to go against you here. I know you're not a huge fan of Vino Rosso, and you think he's being overbet right now. In the stymie, I liked him that day. I felt like he's coming off of a race, and I think that they were trying to stretch him out last year to make him a Triple Crown kind of horse, and trying to stretch that sprint speed. And what I saw in the stymie, I said right away when they crossed the finish line that day, I think that he's possibly a Carter. I mean, Met Mile type horse, and this is a prep for the Met Mile, and I think this horse has quality, and I think he'll improve off of this second off the layoff.
Well, he's going to have to, because, I mean, he beat a horse in Title Ready that can't warm up a horse like World of Trouble. And I don't disagree. I think he is more of a one-turn type, but I don't think he should be close to the same odds as the favorite. And I think if the favorite doesn't run, this race is just up for grabs.
Well, we're talking about the 2. Vino Rosso. Todd Pletcher said he's matured not just physically but mentally as well. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
And I kind of thought the same thing about Vino Rosso in his last start, coming back in that stymie. We'll see what he puts forth here. Does he take a step backward, given the big performance that he put forth? So I'll check in with the horse coming in off a bit of a break, and that is your current favorite at 4-5 in number 8, World of Trouble. World of Trouble, well, he isn't the biggest in stature. He's definitely the biggest as far as early speed is concerned, and he can carry it too. You know, if he didn't have his PP staring me in the face, looking at him, I'd be suspect about the 7 furlongs, but he's proven time and time again that he has no problem with it, and he can run fast and keep it going. Now, they did bring him over with earplugs, which is something I hadn't seen from him or seen from the connections last year. It seems as though they're really trying to keep him quiet, and it has worked. He's remained quiet from the time in the paddock to out on the track. Not a big warm-up from him either. So I think that's because they want to try to dole out those fractions. So I have no complaints with your current favorite and respect him wholeheartedly. But a New York bred that I've really just become a fan of is number 7, Honor Up, who in the hands of Michelle Nevin has really blossomed, and a horse that I'm sure connections thought highly of, given the fact that they threw him into the Lexington against Open Company after breaking his maiden against New York breds. But he's just really found his niche in this 7 furlongs to a mile, and he's turned into this beast of a 4-year-old. So I really think that Honor Up, I know he's faced a little lesser here, but he can certainly pick him up in the latter stages of this Carter if the pace comes back to him, guys.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Well, even money right now on World of Trouble as he looks to move to 7 for 11 in his career. Manny Franco aboard.
I think he's an overlaid even money. I think Honor Up is not getting the love that he deserves, the number 7 here. It's a horse that has dramatically improved for Michelle Nevin since we switched these one-turn races, much like a Vino Rosso. In his last race, he had the rail, and he broke about legitimately 3 lengths behind the field. And Jose Lozcano made a premature move in that race to open up, and he still held on to win.
And another horse I think we haven't talked a whole lot about, Identity Politics, the 4-horse. You know, 2 races back, he was beaten 4 lengths in the Grade 1 Malibu. He finished second to McKenzie. McKenzie's going to be a heavy favorite for the Santa Anita Handicap later on this afternoon, one of the better older horses in the country. And he was beaten at odds on last time out, 80 cents on the dollar, but he had a horrendous trip. He got bumped at the start of the race. He was 6 wide, and it just wasn't a good trip. So maybe him being a little bit overlooked at 5-1 as well.
Listen, I'm a fan of Identity Politics. In my heart, I'm rooting for him to do well in this race. He, too, could be compromised by a lack of pace in this race, and I think that really works against him because he's got to sit back and make one run. But I agree, he's talented.
Let's take a look at how this Naira Betts late pick 5 has gone so far with still 3 legs to go. Life's a Parlay started things off. Always shopping, $9.90. One little upset could change this whole thing and make it pay all kinds of money. 134,000 plus in that pool today. Healthy pool size for this Wood Memorial card. As we get set to load up now for the Grade 1 Carter, and odds on now on World of Trouble. As we want to remind everybody, Fox Sports Saturday at the Races, expanded coverage from Oaklawn Park. Friday, Saturday, Sunday next weekend, and one of the final stops on the road to the Kentucky Derby as well. We'll talk a lot about that race coming up in the Arkansas Derby.
I can't wait to go to Oaklawn.
I can't wait to see you at Oaklawn. That's going to be fun. Here we go. Grade 1 Carter. Can World of Trouble make it 3 in a row? Larry Colmus with the call.
They're off in the Carter. Skylar Scramjet comes out running with, on the outside, World of Trouble second early on. Then it's Honor Up in third, followed by Vino Rosso. Sir Ballantyne on the inside, Identity Politics, and Life in Shambles at the back of the pack as they head up the backstretch. Skylar Scramjet on the lead, but drifting out as Honor Up comes through, and on the inside, Skylar Scramjet well out into the track. World of Trouble is back running in third now, a length and a half off the lead as they creep through a 23.61 opening quarter mile. Not much pace on at all here. And then it's Vino Rosso fourth on the inside. They're followed by Life in Shambles, who's about 5 lengths off the lead and clear of Sir Ballantyne, and Identity Politics at the back of the pack as they make their way around the far turn. Honor Up the leader. World of Trouble goes up on the outside, 3 wide. Skylar Scramjet between those two. Vino Rosso is fourth. 46.71 was the half. And then comes Life in Shambles fifth, and they're into the stretch, and World of Trouble makes his move for the lead on the outside. Honor Up tries to dig in toward the rail. Skylar Scramjet's between those two in third, then Vino Rosso and Life in Shambles. World of Trouble and Manny Franco come down to the final 16th in front. Skylar Scramjet is second. And then is Honor Up on the inside. World of Trouble's gonna do it. World of Trouble takes the Carter over Skylar Scramjet. And then it was Honor Up and Vino Rosso.
No.
Runner-up in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, but much the best here in the Grade 1 Carter. World of Trouble, the win for Jason Service.
And a very oddly run race, and Gary and I wants to talk about the backstretch run because they were crawling up front. World of Trouble, a nice win, but I don't think he's a Met mile horse. 7 furlongs, maybe the limit?
Well, I don't know how much what happened, what we're about to see here, took out of him at the start. You're going to see the 5-horse Skylar Scramjet with Rajiv Mirage boring out quite significantly coming down the backside. And Manny Franco can't get far enough back to go to the inside, and it's quite possible that Rajiv was trying to bait him up inside of him. So he's got some decisions to make right here. And I personally think he's having to take too much hold of World of Trouble right now, which may have affected his final finish because he's a much quicker horse than what he showed here, but he couldn't help. He had to make a decision. He made the right decision because he wound up on top. But I'd really kind of throw that backstretch run out. This might have been a better than seen type race for him.
Well, also because the pace was so slow, in a funny way, maybe it inhibits a horse like World of Trouble, who's better if he's rolling along.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking his best asset away from him. Sometimes when you take that much hold of a horse, you're cutting the air off a little bit. They're not getting into that rhythm. They're fighting you, and when they fight you, it could have taken a 16th of a mile run away from him. That's how much the best he was here today.
And I'll give a little bit of Vino Rosso. The race, the way it developed, was very bad.
It was ugly,
The slow pace, he rushed up into it. It just didn't develop well for him because the horses that dominated were horses that have front-running speed.
Yeah, and another thing with Vino Rosso, giving some credit here, he came back quick off of a great return race off of a long layoff, and he could have had what we call that bounce theory a little bit today off of good effort and then just not having a good setup in front of him.
So Jason Service, he has a good one on his hands. He says, especially when I give this horse a little bit of spacing, which he did today. I haven't seen this horse since late January. He usually shows up. He showed up in a big way today. 4-5 on World of Trouble. Floated wider than he usually wants to be, taken out of his game a little bit, still gets the job done.
And a really cool horse because this horse is at the top of the division both for turf sprinters and for dirt sprinters. That's pretty unusual.
And he started in a 25 maiden claiming race. That's where his career began. That's been sort of a theme this afternoon. Great horses who've evolved, we've seen, started out in maiden claimers. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Here with winning trainer Jason Service in this Carter. World of Trouble. Jason showed a new dimension today. Was that the plan, rating off the speed?
It was. You know, Michelle had that fast horse in there. We thought he'd probably come back to us a little bit.
And a horse that has shown and answered every question that you posed to him. Turf, dirt, doesn't matter. He's just good.
Oh, he's a runner. I mean, makes you look good, really. I mean, anybody, he can run.
That he can. Well, get your picture taken.
Thanks,
Congrats.
Maggie. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, it's all about World of Trouble. He didn't have any trouble today in the Carter, that's for sure.
They've got choices to make, good choices to make. What's this horse's preferred surface?
Well, it's distance too, right? I mean, the Jaipers are Grade 1 now on the turf sprinting on Belmont Day. And I mean, you could take a shot a mile in the Belmont Stakes. What if he gets in the field without a lot of speed and he can actually use his speed and bottom out at a mile?
What's the prize money on the Jaipers?
400.
And
the Met's 1 1/4.
And
for stud value.
And does the Met not make him worth a ton of money?
Oh, no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I think with this race today, I think we're going to see him in the Met Mile. That would make sense to me. It's more money, and it's got all the stallion value. And off of what I saw down the backside, originally when I didn't know what was going on down the backside, I'm thinking, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? We showed that head on. We saw. So I think it was a much better looking performance. It was still good, but it was even better than what we think.
But let's give some credit to Rajiv, too, on the runner-up.
Sure.
I mean, he was trying to win, and he did everything possible to help his horse have a chance to win.
13-1. Respect.
Still to come later today, the Wood Memorial. You can catch that on NBC Sports Network. Of course, Rapoli Stable, St. Elias Stable, won with Vino Rosso last year. And Rapoli Stable going to be represented again this year.
And not an impossible horse, a weird horse. It does feel like you wonder, looking at that 6-horse over-deliver, if Mike Rapoli did a little cajoling to get Todd Pletcher to run. But I don't think he's impossible off his last race.
Agreed.
3 major preps coming up this afternoon on the road to the Kentucky Derby. Of course, next weekend, we're sending you on the road. You're going to be out in Arkansas, but 3 days in a row. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, extended live on-site coverage from Oaklawn. We'll talk plenty about that Arkansas Derby, but we'll get to see Improbable back in action as well.
Yeah, and I don't know how short Improbable is going to go. He's got a new rider in Irad Ortiz. He's going to be riding him, and he's going to be favored. It's just hard telling how much.
Hope you enjoyed this Saturday of action. Bellafina looks supreme, winning the Santa Anita Oaks. It is on to the first Friday in May. Will Always Shopping join her there? She won the Busanda as a maiden and now adds the Gazelle to her resume. And in the Grade 1 Carter, World of Trouble, living up to his name, sensational, with a Grade 1 victory. We will see you next Friday at 5:30 Eastern.